Hi everyone, welcome back to the Social Media Derby, episode 134. It's a celebration pod. We've got the three Arsenal lads on. Khem will be joining in a little bit to go against the celebrations. But yeah, we've got a great episode this week. We'll obviously wrap up Premier League season 2025 to 26. All games completed. Arsenal are the champions. Tottenham have avoided the relegation, which I know is a sad point for all of us because we would like to see that happen. But yeah, before we get into it, for those watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment and share if you can. For those listening on Spotify, Apple, or any of the other podcasting platforms, please follow, give us a 5-star review. And the views expressed in this pod are for entertainment purposes only and do not reflect the opinions of anyone, affiliated people or organization. But I don't know if that one is at risk today because it should be an upbeat pod. Once we're done with the Prem, we've also got our Premier League Team of the Season segment. That might cause some controversy, so maybe it's worth it for that. But yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But how are you, man, doing? Jonty, you were here last week to celebrate. I take it you're still doing well after attending the Emirates yesterday?
I am. It was it was an amazing time. Obviously went with Io, and it was it was one for the record books. The amount of flares and red smoke I had in my eyes by the end of that day was mental. But it was an enjoyable time, and obviously it was good to win the last game of the season too, even though it got a bit shaky at the end. But yeah, overall just a very, very good day. And I'm looking forward to the parade next week, or this week, I should say, on Sunday.
Man's trying to analyze yesterday's game in the last few minutes, but I hear it. Io, how you feeling, mate? You also obviously went with Jonty yesterday to the Emirates. You also went on Tuesday. I guess you're still over the moon.
It's been the happiest week in a very long time, and I was live. Can't lie to you. I think I was saying to Johnny yesterday. I don't. It's actually amazing what 22 men pause how they can make you feel so happy playing a football game. Because honestly, the joy I felt these last the joy I felt this last week. You can smirk, but yeah, I've only been this happy. I'm having this happy in a very long time, and yeah, it's down to these boys, mate. So it's been a very good, very good time. Very good time as an Arsenal fan. Yeah, as I said, went down Tuesday, was there with Razor, and then went down yesterday, and that was unbelievable. Both times, numbers amazing, like the setting, the positivity, and it's beautiful, man. It's good. The good times with Arsenal fan. It's a long time coming, but very, very happy to be on the pod today because a lot of shit talk is ready to come for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, man. Razor, how are you doing, bro? You went on Tuesday, didn't go yesterday. But I guess you're also riding the crest of a wave right now as well.
Yeah. I had to work this weekend, unfortunately. So I was away. I did not get to see the game live, and I did not get to attend the celebrations. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the parade. The disclaimer was still definitely necessary because a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say. And I want to hear what they have to say now. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I have to say.
Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully, Khem will make it in time, and we can see what everyone has to say to each other. But let's start with the Crystal Palace game. Then it ended 2-1, like John's talked about just now. Fairly comfortable, but yeah, at the end, they equalised, didn't they? And then it got ruled out. For offside or like being in the way of getting a touch on the strike before it went past Kepa. But yeah, you end up finishing on 85 points. Very respectable points tally, I think, for a title champions. Compared to Liverpool last season, Liverpool got 84 points. There was a lot of chat earlier in the season about, the league quality, the level that it'll take to win this league. What do you guys say about it, Johns, considering you've ended up getting a very similar points tally to the Scousers last season?
Yeah, I think it's just a disingenuous take that people use specifically to put us down. It's just like the set piece stuff. I don't think you'll hear much more of it in the summer or next season. I think it was just at the time way of kind of trying to degrade us. So yeah, I don't put much stock in it, really. I mean, we've had Premier League seasons with higher points. We've had Premier League seasons with lower points. I think you can see in the teams that got European football this year that it's been a really difficult league. I mean, if you look at pretty much, I think it's between like 4th and about 15th, the number of points that separates all of them is very, very low. So from that point of view, it's been a really competitive league. I think we've seen a lot of upsets. And yeah, I don't think there's much stock in saying that, you know, it's a bad league and that we finished with a low points total. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Mikel Arteta has put records on the board this year in terms of number of games that we've won. Yeah, it's not always been easy, but I mean, you look at the 90s under George Graham, look at the Invincible season. Being this good ain't always that easy.
Yeah. And in the end, looking at the table now, you guys have got a 7-point gap, right? I think City ended up on 78 points. And I know that's probably changed a little bit because, you know, you won on the penultimate day. But Razor, do you think in the end, the season will be looked at kind of in a different way than it was during the run-in, considering you finished on 85 points, considering you were 7 points clear at the end?
I think it's just about like how like reasonable and like serious people want to be. I agree with what John said in the sense that like people are often looking for something to kind of put the Arsenal team down with, and when they couldn't use the results, it started to be like, oh, like the play style is this, your players do that, your defenders do that, your manager's this, Declan Rice is performative. So like it doesn't really hold much water in my opinion. And I think the real interesting thing here is how long they can continue to be this disingenuous when English teams are slapping it up in Europe, like in the way they are. When you've got teams like Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, like pushing for competitions that they're traditionally not in, and teams that are traditionally like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be a walk in the park, Big Six, Red Cartel, struggling for their lives. You know what I mean? Chelsea looking very distinctly average, a mid-table team. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the Premier is more competitive than ever. Wonderful things are happening. Crazy players are being discovered at, like, you know, clubs that you necessarily wouldn't have seen them winning, being like so important and being in the discussion for like team of the season, etc. And I honestly feel like that narrative is a disservice to what the Premier League has been this year. And it's funny because we said last year that Liverpool kind of got gifted it. They got a little bit of a run. No one really stuck with them. No one was really like there. Do you know what I'm saying? But Liverpool fans, especially the one that sometimes joins us on this podcast, had a lot to say about the quality of the league. It wasn't the quality of the league, it was the quality of you, man. Bournemouth had a fantastic season. Do you know what I mean? They played some fantastic football. Wolves turned it around midway through the season, despite like still getting relegated. They actually played some good football and made life very difficult for several teams, including us, the champions. United had a facelift halfway through and looked like they got unspace jammed and now had to play football again. This season's been absolutely fascinating, in my opinion. It's been full of like thrills, spills, lots of upsets, like Jonty was saying. And I genuinely think the reductive like sort of take of, oh, my team's not doing well, that means the league's shit. It's just a low IQ take from low IQ people that don't have any joy in their life because let me leave that. But not yeah, up the arse. I know.
Yeah. Wow. Calm. I hear you. I think it's definitely a discussion now, though. Like this team won with 85 points. The team last year won with 84 points. I think it's a very easy comparison to make that, or like it's a fair comparison now to be like, you lot have achieved something which is just as special as them lot did last season, despite all the narratives and all the rubbish and all that kind of stuff that was put around it, and the corners and the unethical this and ethical that. The points don't lie, and the gap between you and City now has ended. It's not even close. Let's be honest. 7 points is a nice chunky gap between the first place and the second place team. It's not even like it was a a point here or there, or the goal difference that some people are a bit scared that it may end up going down to. What do you make out of it in terms of the comparison? Do you think that this Arsenal team is better than the Liverpool team that won last year? If you look at it, it's probably more well-rounded, right? Like, it's definitely a more cohesive team, considering they had a single player scoring the majority of all their goals, and you guys have spread them out across multiple players, right?
Well, all I know is that Liverpool team didn't run Pep Guardiola out of the league. You know, only one team's done that, and this will be the boys this year. So, no, 100%. I think we, I think you just got to give credit to. I think we all said like as long as we win it is the main thing. But I think I said the league's changed. I think Arteta was just even so. I was obviously I wasn't the biggest like advocate of the football, but clearly he just jumped the gun earlier than everybody else. Maybe he saw the league changing a bit quicker than everybody else. So I think kind of speaks to him, speaks to the management, speaks to the analyst, I guess. And I think everyone just kind of like poo-pooing it. It's just bitterness. It's just jealousy because Liverpool won it last year. They had no competition. Like everyone, like we see it report, we fell off. They had like a clean run. They had a clean run to the title. Like it was wrapped up very early on that it was going to be a Liverpool title. So, and then they still won on less points than us. And as John said, like this league, you've seen how competitive it is now. Like there's no gimmies anymore. Maybe like before it was like you can put on your schedule. There's like these gimme games that you're gonna have. But even for us, like you said, like we played Wolves, and Wolves completely made us struggle when we played Burnley. Literally to last week on the Monday, everyone was like, "Oh, that should be an easy game," but that was a tough game, and we were nervous, and they had chances, and we didn't look too comfortable. So, I think it just says, I think the league's definitely a lot more competitive. Obviously, I think this season was just about making sure we just don't concede, we don't leak goals, and we just kind of grind out the victories. And I think that was just a method to win. And maybe it's just about. I definitely think it's a bit more cohesive to answer your question compared to how Liverpool was relied on Salah. I think we just kind of was more of a collective effort to. Like there was obviously I think Gyökeres came and did what he had to do. He got the goals he needed to when he needed to, but I think it was definitely more of a team effort than a one singular focus. And I think for the betterment of the team, to be fair, because you see the cohesiveness, you see the celebrations, and I feel like there's not many egos, and I think that's definitely important with a team. Especially winning your first trophy, I think that having like no one that feels like they're better than you or has to be given the ball every time, I think that plays such an important role. And I think that's definitely how our team was this year. Was everyone working together, and then we could go over the line, thankfully.
Yeah, another thing to factor in this, and you man love to bring it up with our season is you've been doing it fighting on all fronts, right? And I'm pretty sure Liverpool went out of everything around kind of March-ish time. Which may have gone against them in terms of like, it can sometimes help having a title race because it spurs both teams on to go for the win more, and you don't have people just completely take their foot off the pedal. Because I swear those guys all went to Ibiza like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks before the season ended. So if they had a bit more of a challenge, maybe they would have scored some more points. But I think getting 85, you're in the Champions League final, you got to the Carabao Cup final. The only slight blemish is the FA Cup quarter-final, but that Southampton defeat is looking a bit spooky now with old what's his face and what he's been doing. But it's I think it's been a good season for you lot, and I definitely think a lot of the narratives and the naysayers are going to have a long summer, and rightfully so, because they've been giving it out all season, and it's only right that you lot, especially if you're in the Champions League, you'll be well within your right, even without it, to tell them to do one. All right. Is there anything else you man want to call out before we move on to talk about Chelsea? Because sadly, Reece is not here, so I think we just get that dead horse out the way and move on to the other the other fun topics later.
Boo Chelsea, but Declan Rice more Premier League titles than Steven Gerrard. Victor Gyökeres said he came to win. He won. Everyone was talking about him being a builder in Levi jeans and Timberlands, but he has a Premier League medal. Yeah,
and your top scorer.
Big Eze.
And your top scorer.
Don't let me start about Eze. The boy, he came. They tried to mock the video. They tried to say what kind of man comes out in jeans. I know this announcement. This is what he does. They tried to mock the song. That you can't. What God says
worked out.
They worked out perfectly. What a story. That's what I mean. It's you guys. The fact I was on last week, I was gutted because the high was real. But yeah, no, we need to appreciate all these boys. But Kayo, Arsenal fans, you deserve more. That boy, beautiful, beautiful post.
Talk about putting words into action, bro.
Exactly.
Certain man are too busy. Certain man wingers are too busy tweeting, trying to get their manager fired, man. Disgraceful.
There was conversations between him, Palmer, and Foden. Only one's getting to the World Cup. Conversations. Let's make sure conversations are over now, people. It's over. You cannot doubt God's child. God's child. This is not
you.
So I remember telling me about Alisson as well. Where's he gone?
Leave him. Right, best keeper. How many golden gloves can a man collect? How many can one man collect, bro?
3 people.
Imagine. You want me to be humble. Humbleness is gone. Unbearable Arsenal fans for the rest of the summer. There's no humbleness. MLS. They tried to yank MLS's chair. They thought this was a little boy. He said, hold up. Let me come into midfield and show you what I want. And look at the boy. What a special player. Everybody.
Pivotal role as well. Pivotal role as well in the running. Pivotal role in the running. So yeah. He deserves it.
Maybe there was something to Arteta's madness. I don't know. I didn't see it, but maybe there was something to it. But that... Look at that. God's plan.
Just bear in mind, certain man were talking about attacking midfielders who have been in the league for 7 years and have won fuck all. And now we have a Premier League winning Odegaard, my friend.
We have a Premier League winning McDowman, bruv. The youngest Premier League winner ever. Are you mad?
What a team!
Look at them.
Did you see the guard? No, I'm laughing because did you see the guard of honor that his schoolmates gave him when he came to school after he won the Prem? That was class. They literally gave him a guard of honor at the school entrance.
He deserves everything. The man was somehow intaped, bro. At 16, there's clearly some safeguarding rules are broken. There's definitely some sort of the breach of license for tape. But anything can go. I saw pictures. But what? Yeah, exactly. Everybody contributed, man. What a team! I see what I see. But no, we gotta be. All this humbleness gimmick is done. If people hate Arsenal fans before we had a trophy, don't question anything that people hear over the summer because uncomfortable conversations will be had. As I said, if we win the Champions League, the players I'm comparing some of these men to, you will not like it, but I'm gonna say it and I'll say it with chest. So
if you guys stay silent for a while, if you listen really carefully, what you'll be able to hear is the goalposts slowly moving away from the Premier League title towards something else now. So just prepare yourselves. Those goalposts are shifting.
Yeah,
no doubt they will, man. Because there's always got to be a narrative, and you see that those guys were just. When I watched the final day, I thought if they didn't have the relegation battle, Sky were finished. They were trying so desperately to create some sort of narrative on the last day, and it was dead. There was no narrative to happen. They just got Ian Wright in there and just made it like a love fest when considering they've been whipping up all these crazy narratives or playing a part in it. Was a bit disingenuous of them, but oh well. All right, let's go on to Chelsea then. 2-1. Sunderland beat them. I guess we should have all predicted this. I don't know why we didn't in the actual prediction league, most of us, but yeah, Chelsea lose again. They finished 10th. So I wanted to run the whole bottom half of the table gimmick, but sadly they've just snuck in the bottom part of the first half of the table. But yeah, Xabi Alonso is now going to join the team with 1 game a week. Do you guys obviously we'll get our jokes off and everything, but do you think seriously though, John, so I'll start with you. Do you think that actually may help Xabi? Because he's definitely walking into a tough gig. With all the players and drama, and they got another red card, by the way, guys, in this game. I don't know how many they've got in this season. It's got to be close to double figures. Do you think it's going to help him to have that extra time on the training pitch?
It will definitely help him, but it will also help the club in not having to deal with European financial rules as well. So I think from multiple aspects, they're probably happy with not making it into any kind of European competition. So I think it will help him just because of the fact we've seen it with Man United this year. He's going to have more time to actually train his players. I think he's coming in quite early as well. So he's got a whole summer with them, pre-season. I mean, most of their players aren't even going to the World Cup. So from that point of view, he's going to have everyone back. He's going to be able to work on a training pitch with all of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do quite a lot better next year than they did this year. But the only thing I will say about them is that they've still got a lot of what I'm going to call trash personalities in that changing room that they're going to need to shift out ASAP. So that's the only thing that can really do them in, because if they've got to still deal with Garnacho, you saw with Xabi Alonso in Real Madrid, the only thing that can derail this plan is if you've got a bunch of characters that do not like the manager and or don't want to buy into what he's telling them to do. And I'll be honest with you, that Chelsea dressing room has quite a few of them. So couple of let's say a couple of steps forward in that he's got less football to play, more time on the training pitch, less financial stringent conditions to meet, but he's still got a team of pretty useless players that he's going to have to deal with. So yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough market for them as well, because I think Cucurella, I've seen links with him leaving the club. Enzo Fernandez, obviously. There's a bunch of players that may not be there, which have actually been some of their better players. And then they've got to deal with all the deadwood. You know what? When I was watching that Spurs-Everton game, at least the last however many minutes it was, you know, there was one player there that actually looked semi-decent on the Everton side. I thought they were generally pretty shite. But you know who it was? It was Evil Saka. It was Tyreek George. And I thought, what the hell? Why did Chelsea sell him to get Garnacho and Kittens? And he clearly looks better than both of them, or at least similar level. And I just thought that like encapsulates the level of bad business that they did in that summer. Selling a homegrown talent to get in two drama queens, or at least one of them on Garnacho's case. And they've gone backwards. Razor, what do you make of it, man? Do you share Jonty's, I guess, slight optimism that it could help them, or do you think he's got a massive job on his hands?
It's absolutely disgusting. These guys paraded themselves around as the champions of the world, and now they are finishing in mid-table. We cannot let them get away with such egregious crimes. Look at, bruv, Reece. Where is Reece, bro? You can't tell me he was just mystically busy today. Where's the gold badge? What's going on? Because this team, they told us they beat PSG in a preseason friendly, and they told us that they were the GOATs. And you know what? We listened. Some of us even had them in our predictions at the front of the season. We were like, yeah, they're going to be doing this, do it. 10th. That's a big mess up. That's a shame. That's disgraceful. We're not making enough of a song and dance about it, bruv. We finished second, and people made a song and dance about it. People made it into a joke. Chelsea have been getting allowed to stink really badly. And like, yeah, they need to pattern up. And like I said, you can do all of this blue co out, clear like this, Your players are moving like numbskulls. Like, there's no discipline, there's no camaraderie, there's no togetherness, there's no common sense. Common sense is not common at Stamford Bridge. So it's like, yeah, having one game per week is probably going to help, man. It's probably going to make some kind of actual, like, tangible difference to how well they can, like, play with the system and the players that he's got. But ultimately, if he's not able to instill common sense, and like Jonty said, there are some stinky attitudes in that dressing room. And I wonder, like, we've seen what man's like at, for example, at Leverkusen, where, like, you've got industrious players that want to work for the system. And we've also seen what he's like when he's got, shall we say, strong characters and big personalities that think they're bigger than the club. They're bigger than the program. Do you know what I'm saying? We will see how that works at the Bridge. But yeah, Chelsea deserve to be shamed. They need to do like the Xerxes from Game of Thrones thing. They should get to. They should do a guard of shame. Get taken through the street to Fulham. Yeah, and have all the season ticket holders get to throw tomatoes at them, and they should bring Maresca as well because he did them dirty. But nah, you can't be like, oh yeah, we've got problems. You know what Enzo Maresca did? Yeah, You know them man that tactically break up with their girl before they go on a lad's holiday or to carnival. That's what he did. Like he started like making. He didn't even do that. He started picking arguments with her so that she would break up with him. That's scummy. That's terrible. And he made a bad situation worse in a very immature dressing room. So yeah, record numbers of red cards and whatnot. Some awful results. But as we always say, I absolutely fucking love to see it. Long may it continue. I wish Reece and all the boys in blue nothing but sadness when it comes to football. Thank you very much.
You know what Maresca did? He told his real wife about his work wife on purpose.
He did. And he's right, by the way, to do that. I'm sorry. If you look and you have the option to go to Man City with all them players, that infrastructure, and you're currently with Chelsea and the absolute madhouse that is, he did the right thing. He shagged them, but it was the right decision in the long run for him.
He has no honor.
So yeah, maybe the honor's not there, but you know, Chelsea, Man City, there's no honor. He just made the right decision. He just based it on, you know, just cutthroat. This is why I'm going to have more chances to win. And let's be real, that's City, isn't it? So yeah, he did screw them over. But yeah, I'm looking at Chelsea's last 4 season finishes, by the way. There's a 12th in there. This season is 10th. They finished 4th once, and the other season they finished 6th. So to miss out on Champions League 3 out of the 4 seasons that Blueco or whatever they're called have been there, that's pretty bad stuff. So
that's a mid-table team. I mean, you look at those finishes. That's an Everton. That's an Everton type team now. That's where they need to stay. They need to buy their time in the middle of the pack, try Kelly Holmes it, and come in at the end. But at the moment, you know, they are very average, and they need to stay where they are.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them, man. I think like all roles, this one is probably closer to the Leverkusen than the Real Madrid one in terms of what Xavi's experienced, but it's just that infrastructure. So I'm pretty sure that Leverkusen infrastructure was a lot better. You know, despite them sacking Ten Hag after a few weeks or whatever it was, that probably was the right decision from them. But they generally seem like they know ball a bit more than Don Florentino Perez and those guys at Real Madrid. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens with Xavi at Chelsea. But I think it's going to be a big job. Khem's just joined us now as well, so we'll move on from Chelsea. We'll go into the United segment, so you can just find your bearings, Khem, before we talk about Liverpool versus Brentford. So it ended Brighton 0, Man United 3. Bruno Fernandes got the record-breaking assist, or did he? We'll discuss that in a minute. Dorgu scored. Mbeumo scored as well. It was a miracle because I actually saw Ahmad did disgusting move in that as well. So he actually started to play again, which is good. And yeah, then Bruno scored the 3rd goal. To be honest, I was quite surprised that we absolutely peppered them the way that we did because Brighton were actually playing for, I think they could still get Champions League football when we went into the final game week, and we had absolutely nada to play for. And apart from the first 15, 20 minutes where they had a decent amount of the ball without doing that much, I don't think Lammens had to make too many saves. We absolutely smacked them up after that. I didn't even look at the XG because I knew I didn't need to bring it up as backup because it was absolutely one-way traffic. We should have got 4 or 5, even more than that. I was quite disappointed with Brighton considering all the social media gas they were giving it leading up to the game. We tucked them away nice and easily. But let's get into that Bruno goal because John's brought it up in the group chat and it's all over social media right now. So he's been credited the goal. That's what we know, right? But he crosses the ball in from a corner. Dorgu headers it. It bounces off the bar, travels a very short distance, hits Verbruggen's hand, goes in the net. Now, do you guys actually, John, we'll start with you because you were the one who was the most vehement in a group chat. What do you make of the goal? Do you think it's an absolute aberration that he's been credited it, or what's your take on it?
I don't want to talk about aberration. I just want to talk about facts, right? We have a dubious goals committee. Their specific job is to look at deflections off defenders, possible own goals, whether a player got the final touch or not. And typically, the biggest question that they always ask themselves is, Was the original shot going to go on target? Had the goalkeeper or whoever else not been there, would it have gone into the goal? And I'm going to pull you back to 2 examples, right? 2 out of the 4 own goals that a goalkeeper has conceded or given this year. Sam Johnston against Arsenal. If you remember it, Razor, what happened? Saka crosses the ball in from a corner. It curves all the way in, hits the post, comes back out, hits Sam Johnston in the back of the head and goes back into the goal. What was it given as? An own goal on Sam Johnston. No assist, nothing for Saka, right? The second one I'll pull you to is also the same goalkeeper that we're talking about with Brighton, which is Bart Verbruggen against Wolves. These are both this season, by the way, right? Marshall Munetzi smashes one, he volleys it from the edge of the box. Verbruggen pushes it onto the post, it bounces back off the post, hits his hand and goes into the back of the goal. What was it given as? An own goal on Bart Verbruggen. So again, nothing awarded to Munetzi, nothing awarded to whoever passed it to him. So it's very clear from my point of view, if the original shot was not going on the target, it's an own goal. And if they've implemented that rule so far in this Premier League season, multiple times in the exact same way, why in this case have they said, well, actually, we'll break it? Because we specifically have the dubious goals committee that other countries do not have, whose specific job is to do this type of stuff, which goes towards statistics, FPL awards, betting, gambling, etc., etc. So I don't want to talk about aberration, this, that, or the other. All I will talk about, there's a lot on the line from this point of view, right? 20 goals, he has the chance to break it, just like Salah got close to it last year. It's a storyline. It's something that they can talk about. It also goes with this whole Player of the Year debate. We talked about, Antony, what you mentioned. They really wanted to make the last game of the season something, to be worth watching. All I'll say is you add up all those facts, all of what we know about the media, all of what we know about the Premier League, and all of what we know about the factual ways that this committee is supposed to look at goals. And in my opinion, they made the wrong decision here.
I hear you.
That is all I will say.
I hear you. And a lot of the arguments online have been bringing up examples. I think the Jorginho one is one that I saw a lot of fans bring up. And the key point here, which I don't actually agree, because I've seen a couple of angles. I don't agree. I don't disagree. I think it's completely inconclusive, because here's the kicker. If the ball hits the post or bar and goes in, it counts as being on target. So everything you just said doesn't apply if it hits the bar or the post and it goes in. And the point is, from all the views, you can't tell where it's going, because the bar is literally here. Verbruggen's hand is literally
okay. Then let me ask you one question. Do you think Verbruggen's hand and his body were inside of the goal as a goalkeeper? Would they ever be standing in the goal? So, AKA, if his hand is in front of the goal and the ball somehow hits it, what trajectory is it on? It's on the trajectory to come back out of the goal.
Let me ask you something.
You can say all this. We don't have evidence. It's bullshit. You can see from that angle, it wasn't going in the goal.
If it hits the post and the bar, is it only able to go in directly immediately? Does it have to only be in off that? Or have you ever seen a goal?
Now we're going to talk about whether it was going to spin back into the goal and if it was going to do all of this, that, and the other. The trajectory was not going into the goal. That's the simple thing.
Bro, my point is what they've decided. I don't give a shit, bro. It doesn't matter. You literally just said I think you guys care more about it, considering all you guys have been crying about it all day. That's the decision they made. If they didn't give it, I couldn't argue with you, because from that angle, I can't see where it's going, right? So I couldn't argue with you. The same way, what happened, you lot are just crying. That's all it is.
So we're just crying because apparently they don't follow the rules. But when you cry about hair pulls, it's okay. You're allowed to cry about the hair pulls, and everyone's just got to listen to your fucking belly aching. Yet when we look at something that is quite a serious thing, we're not allowed to talk about the rules and the application of the rules. It's only when you guys do it, right?
Because you've never belly ached ever on this pod, and you've never had Khem.
My point is, my belly aching has been consistent the whole time. If their rules are the rules, implement them correctly. Implement them consistently. I've said the same shit the whole time. If you have a rule, apply it consistently. In this case, they applied it consistently all the way up until your team was at stake, right? Because Verbruggen, go and watch the goals, Ant. Verbruggen, Johnston, go and look at them and tell me if this doesn't feel like it's different from that.
Bro, Bro, it doesn't matter. That's the rule they've applied.
No, you're going to say it doesn't matter.
That's
You asked
literally-
my opinion.
Bro, I've literally just
you
said-
asked my opinion on whether I think it was a goal or not. I told you my opinion. Now you're going to tell me,
Yeah.
oh, don't cry about it. They gave it. You
just
asked my
gave you
opinion. I told
just
you my
gave I
opinion,
just-
bro.
Yeah, and I just gave you my opinion. And what happened?
Where's the
Exactly.
factual parts behind yours?
Oh, there's no facts for
Any
yours
facts?
either, bro. You're
There's
just
no facts for
waffling.
yours.
You're just waffling.
I'll show you the
It's
goals.
same
I'll put them
amount.
in the group chat. We can have a chat in the group chat. No
Do
one
it.
is going to be
Do the same
side.
thing.
You can even get
Do the same
Manasseh.
thing.
Doesn't care
Do the
either.
same thing.
Every
He's
single
never
one
on the pod, bro.
group
What does
will
it
look
matter?
at the exact same thing that I've just provided, and they'll say the
What
same
does it
shit.
matter?
You're the only team
Okay.
that's going to be on the back
Okay.
of this because everyone knows
We
that was
we
not
care.
an assist.
We
You are
care
the
the
ones that
most.
can. Yeah,
We
you
care
are.
the most about
Don't
this,
tell
we
me don't cry about the rules when
All right.
you've been crying about the
All right.
rules the whole season. All right.
Of course.
About
That's
the
a
red
that's
card,
a, that's a me problem.
Casemiro
That's a
apparently
me
choked
that's a me problem and
talking
Man
about
United
goals
fan
being
problem.
choked out.
Okay,
Someone grabbed him by the collar. It wasn't a red card. We
right,
always
bro.
get the bad
All right, bro.
decisions.
All
Now
right,
you're
bro.
telling me not to cry about this. Joke,
You
man.
shouldn't. All right. Let's wrap up the United segment then. I think we've done it enough. I was going to open it out, but I knew it would just end up being me versus Johnson, that one. Considering the group chat. All right, let's move on to Liverpool 1-1 against Brentford.
I don't care, but it was off target. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good for you, bro. All right, Liverpool versus Brentford.
Yeah, same
He
here.
doesn't
It wasn't a goal, but
Yeah,
I'm not bothered.
it happens. Yeah, exactly.
No goal, that's
all right.
fine.
Liverpool versus Brentford 1-1. Curtis Jones scores the first goal, and then Brentford equalise. A bit of a dead game in the end, but you were there, Khem. What did you make of it? And be honest, were you crying when Mo and Andy Robertson came out for their swan song?
I've only just dialed in. We're straight on to Liverpool. I can't get some more entertainment. Like,
Bro, we literally just did the United segment like live
about
in front
Arsenal,
of you.
you still were on the pod last week. If not
Bro,
covered-
you joined at what, 30 minutes plus? We've done
Well,
Arsenal and
I
we've
thought
done
this thing
Chelsea
started
already.
at 7. What are you lot doing? Oh,
You know where I was
fuck's
late,
sake,
bro.
man.
Just chat about Liverpool, bro, so we can get your monologue out the way.
There's nothing new. They're the same boring team that have no idea, no identity. The best player on the pitch was the one that's leaving, the one that was scapegoated. This was nice though. Anything to see it? He ain't been in years, so that was calm to go. It was quite fun because I was there for their first game at Anfield, Salah and Robbo, and obviously you never know what would happen with your players 9 years later. Feel old as shit to even thinking about that, but yeah, it was a good like little send off and all that. But it's been like that every freaking year, if I'm honest. I feel like the last 5 years we're saying goodbye to somebody. It was fucking Genie 1 year, then Sadio 1 year, and then freaking like Hendo and Cater and all these guys, and Matip and Klopp, and then Trent. Like every fucking year is a goodbye to somebody from the peak first 11 and squad. And then next year will probably be Virgil as well and Allison. So it's just going to repeat, really. What we do need a goodbye, the most important goodbye and the final match at Anfield, it needs to be the manager. That's what really, or the fucking sporting director, Hughes. Like one of these two cunts needs to go, or both. I don't give a shit. Edwards as well. All of them. Take your Linux, your fucking Windows 98, whatever dial-up shitty AOL laptop they are using and get the hell out, man. That team is boring and it was really hot. The sun was baking on me. I was suffering so much in that game. It was okay as a tribute, but like as an event, it was just as bad as the other matches I'd been to this season. So as the game as a whole, not good. First half, all right, but as usual, run out of ideas. Rio was good. Curtis Jones scored a goal and didn't even celebrate, so he's definitely out of there. I don't think I've ever seen a Scouser score at Anfield at the Cop End and fucking not even give a shit. So he's definitely going. Yeah, so that's it really with the team. That Thiago guy that plays for them up front is absolutely dog shit, by the way. I was saying to Antony earlier, I don't know how the fuck he's got as many goals as he has, because he was the one player I wasn't worried about. He is bollocks, guys. Genuinely, like everything you could think about Lukaku in his bad form, or like all the things we said about Gyökeres, or anyone you think is just like really, really garbage Brexit style player. He is that. So that just sums up this season, that how he's a top scorer in the league. So I don't know how he's actually awful. But yeah, El Capitan got his send off as well, because he obviously didn't get one originally. So we'll take it. But yeah, glad the season's over. Genuinely, so glad it's over. I've hated it so much.
Now, a question I asked these lot for the Arsenal segment, so I might as well rewind it and ask you since you've joined now.
You don't have to, bro. It's okay.
No. You were talking about the Arsenal segment, so I've got to try and include you. It's about inclusivity and all that stuff, right? So Arsenal finished on 85 points.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair now, because you were a big part of this earlier in the season, to be able to compare this Arsenal title-winning team to the Liverpool winning team from last season, who finished on 84 points? Do you think it's a fair comparison now, or do you still have your original thoughts on this Arsenal team?
I called them the favourites at the start of the season. They have the most depth. They have a fantastic defence. You can't score against them. They're just dead boring, but they've been excited and didn't win. So if like I said last week, or whenever it was, when it was just us three, because these men couldn't show up, if I was in their position as an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't give a shit. I genuinely wouldn't give a fuck as long as you win, because you've seen your team play beautiful football and not get it done. And it's at a point now where this cycle would end. And I don't know how you would get back up if you didn't win it this season. So they got it done. Like as a neutral or as a hater, actually, obviously we're going to say all kinds of stuff to asterisk it. That's what people do every freaking year. I forgot that we finished on 84, but I swear we started like pissing about at the end of the season. I don't even think we won a game after they won the league. These lot were taking the piss. And that says a lot about the standards, doesn't it? Which they were trying to say, but I'm not going to crash out. But yeah, they're one of they've had teams. They had a season where they finished with more points, didn't they? And they didn't get it. So at the end of the day, fair play to them. Fair play to the recruitment team as well. They got the players in that the fans wanted for the first time, I feel like, in a while. Usually, when you guys wanted Watkins, I think, was it January, or particular signings, it wasn't done. And then this time they got Gyökeres. They said they were a strike away and fucking whatever. And then you got Eze, which that's the one where I was pissed when you got Eze. I was actually like, ah, shit, these guys are going to be really, really solid. I don't even think he's had a good season as well. So like, there's more to come from them potentially as well. So that's what's exciting for them. In terms of a comparison, I think there were two different kind of seasons. Like, I think we were the best team by far, but they fell off and City fell off. So it was better for us. But when we played against City, we pumped them. So at least, people can score against the defending champions at the time. Did they do that this season? Not necessarily, but doesn't matter. They're not going to remember that in years to come. That won't matter. All they remember is that they are the title winners finally.
Yeah, that was pretty gracious from you, actually. I was expecting worse, so well done, mate.
Hell, that was gracious at the end. That is the most.
I was nice last time. I was being back-to-back episodes. I was nice.
The caveat is for him.
I believe he knows what he's doing.
It's the transfer pod. I was nice about you in the very first episode that we had as a group. I was nice, and
you know what you're doing, man. Get out of here. What we need to know is about Liverpool. Hey, their title defense for these defending champions, one of the worst in Premier League history.
I think we're the third worst.
A third worst, exactly. So one of the worst, exactly. So to get 60 points,
yeah,
you are the third worst. I'm looking at it right now.
Chelsea did qualify for the Champions League, innit? So I'm your fuck, dude. I'm still getting the European nights, mate. I'll be going back to Anfield. I'm gonna buy shirts, waste my money.
Because of the coefficient. That's why you scrubs are allowed to play.
How come when I saw a table of next year's group projections, we're still above you and City? I saw that in terms of pot one. So have your coefficient, bro, but we're still above you.
You're a champ. You were champion.
You made a final. You made your first final.
Can we go back? We accept your gracious response. Now shut the fuck up. Thank
You wanted me to crash out and be mean, and then you piping, and then you're getting angry when I started slandering.
No,
Anyway,
I'm just
what's
bringing
the
up the
Champions
point
League
that is the
preview?
worst.
Did you not
Do
do
your
the
sad
Champions League
tiny
final?
violin song. Brothers on the pod
Exactly.
crying about people leaving every season. Yeah, bro, that's how football works. Players get sold. and
Imagine
transferred.
every year. Someone
it's
has
yeah.
to go.
The guy's
Leave,
question
bro.
was, "Were you tearing up when Salah went?" That was literally his question. So get your stupid scarf off your head. It's 30 degrees and listen properly.
I'm very cool. I'm ice cold.
Yeah,
very
absolutely
mad.
outrageous. But no, we can't. Disingenuous.
Don't
He
say
knows
it's
what he's
no
doing.
fun.
Fucking
Again, explain how is this disingenuous?
worst title defense, and they spend the most money.
Correct,
They spend the
Never
most
been
money
back-to-back
as well.
in the Premier League
Broke
era anyway.
the fucking transfer record twice
Exactly.
in one
Done
window.
that, baby. We never
Exactly.
spent
The
it, and we
worst-
started spending. How come it was
the
amazing?
worst-
Coutinho
the
money
Great summer,
still.
baby.
worst
Coutinho
title
money is
defense.
Well,
long.
it's finished anyway. There's a video where the guy says he wants a new Premier League winner every year. It was scripted from the start. Eze leaves Palace and he wins the league again at Palace's ground. Come on, that's written down. Like,
version of
that was
video.
written down
So
last year, June.
you're not
It's
dumb enough to have
WWE.
not
It's
seen the
literally
full
WWE.
video
They
of
allowed
that.
you to do a bunch of WWE a whole season anyway. He's crying about dubious decisions over a
Endless,
goal,
man.
but
Why
this
you say fuck me for? I accepted your gracious response.
This
Now you're
is-
coming at
No,
me, bro.
Or blame these
This
lots
is-
collateral
this is-
damage. It's not my fault.
this is-
brother.
this
I
is
don't
why
blame
I
all
said-
these guys.
Scrub.
This is why I said it was gracious, because this is
Wow.
what I could have
Eze's lover and towel head.
It's
okay?
not-
I was
it's
absolutely
not
nice.
gracious,
I was ready
man.
to move on.
I don't,
and
want,
here we
I,
are.
don't, I don't want any graciousness.
Grace, exactly. Who wants graciousness from Ken?
Man.
What do you
Wait.
mean? What,
Quiet
keep
for
it
me.
to
I
yourself.
better hope
for
PSG
sure.
don't show up then, because you wanted me. I'm trying to be nice.
Hey,
I'm
wait,
trying
we're
to be
gonna
nice.
do we'll do the PSG Arsenal preview in a little bit, so hold your horses on that. Let's not. No. Bro, we have to go through. It was the last Premier League weekend
Man
of the
joins
season.
late
We have
and
to go
tries
through
to
our
critique
season.
the
Our
running
season didn't
order,
end
bro.
on Sunday. Our season
Really
ended in like
understand.
fucking November.
I know. Officially.
If,
it
if
did,
your
but
season
yeah.
ended so long ago, why did I hear all your fans keep begging for the season to end?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You just said that your season was finished a
Long
long
end.
time ago, but most of your fans were just begging for it last week, the week before. They were begging it to end. So when did it really end? Was it not yesterday?
It ended time ago, man. I don't know when it ended, man.
Everybody
It
went
ended
on
in the-
sabbatical. That's why.
It ended
innit?
in that mix
Yeah,
zone in
makes
Leeds. That's when it
A lot of
ended. For sure.
sabbaticals. A lot of sabbaticals this season. That's definitely been one of the
I'm
buzzwords
here.
of.
I was here
of
the other day, and I'm here
No,
again.
no,
Some
no.
people didn't show up
Big
after
you
they
up.
lost the cup final. Okay, I'm still here. I'm just here
Big
so I
you
don't
up.
get fined.
You have turned up in the last couple of pods.
Thank
But all
you.
right, let's
Because he wasn't in a foreign country. This guy loses a.
Hey, man.
He doesn't. Liverpool lose. He doesn't watch him for 6 weeks, and he goes on 3 holidays. And now he's here being like, "Oh yeah. Like I was here." Like, shut up, man.
We haven't even won a
your
game.
grace.
I don't think we won a game in
On
May.
you and your grace.
No,
Fine,
to be
Rob,
fair,
right,
the way that he decided to come back was he just realized that he should just get drunk every single time before.
I've been
And that
drinking
was his
today,
coping
and it's-
mechanism for coming
and it's
in.
Aqua Capartica, okay? So if they want to
Oh,
sponsor the
God.
pod, let's go, baby. Let's get it.
Big them up. That's a good water brand. All right, let's wrap up the game week 38 review here. Then, before we move into the special segment, I am going to just share the final prediction league standings, because that's all wrapped up now with the final game week. So it went right down to the wire. The winner's not on the pod, but it is Reese. He finished in first with 130 points and 23 correct scores. He nearly bottled it. Did not get 1 point in this entire game week. And Jonty almost managed to pip him, but he finished in second with the same amount of points, but 19 correct scores. So he's essentially lost on goal difference, which is a bit rough. He had a pretty good game week, 4 points. That's not bad. Io had a stinker when it comes to the submission, to clock in that he'd forgot a certain result.
No tic-tac, no party. We said it,
well,
John. We got
you
there
know,
in the end.
Well, yeah.
You belong. Where did you finish? Where did you finish?
Yeah. There were some tic-tacs, but I wasn't involved. But yeah, Io finishes in third with 124 points and 17 correct scores. Khem finishes in 4th with 119 points and 18 correct scores.
Very ethical
Razor
position as well. Thank you very much.
Still looking up to the tour guy, mate.
Wasn't looking for any help. Didn't receive any
Still
help.
looking up to the tour. Looking up to the
Wasted
tour
most
guy,
of my
mate.
points on hate watching anyway. So
Remember that,
congrats.
mate. Look up to the
So,
tour guy. Remember your position in
third
life.
place.
Remember where you are. Remember your position. Change your damn headline. Look up to the tour guy. That's what it's meant to do.
All right. Razor finished in 5th with 118 points and 13 correct scores. I finished in 6th with 113 points and 11 correct scores. And Nash finished in 7th with 86 points and 13 correct scores.
Antony, you finished last, mate.
Technically, I finished last because Nash didn't send a result in for probably a month and a half. So yeah, unofficial relegation for me. But yeah, that's where we ended up. Prediction League. We're going to come up with a few different ideas for how to rejig it for next season to make it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, hopefully next season is just as down to the wire as this season has been. But let's crack on with a special segment then. It's in the title of the pod. It's the Premier League team of the season. So I've got everyone on the pod to send me their players per position, and 4-3-3 is what we've gone for because that's the formation of Arsenal Football Club, and they won the league this season, so we'll follow them.
That's right.
So it's goalkeeper, right back, 2 centre backs, 1 left back, 2 centre midfielders, because some members of the pod didn't love the idea of a DM-CM split. So we got 2 CMs, we got an AM, we got right wing, left wing, and centre forward. So everyone sent in their teams, and we have a couple of contentious ones, which we'll talk through as we get through. But we'll start off with the goalkeeper. Every single person who voted, bear in mind again that Nash did not vote, as he didn't with the prediction league. Every single person voted David Raya. So he's the resounding goalkeeper of the season for all of us. Does anyone have, Jonty, do you have anything to say about David Raya? I know you're a big fan. And everyone voted for him. So he's clearly been the best goalie of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like we talked about, I think earlier on in the season, before actually the season started, we had kind of a bit of a debate about this, and I think it's the biggest thing for me is that he played pretty much every single game for us, and was outstanding. I mean, the amount of, I think, really important, because of the fact that we usually don't win by a massive margin. The saves that he had to make in some of those games were literally game-changing saves, right? We think about the West Ham one, we think about the various kind of like first and then second save, like rebound saves that he made throughout the season. I mean, they were critical for us because if you think about if any of those had gone in, we potentially would be in a very different point situation than we actually are. And then the only other thing I'll say to him is like, he's not perfect, but he's very well-rounded as a goalkeeper. You know, we talk about like Donnarumma, we talk about some of these goalkeepers where they quite clearly have 1 or 2 areas of their game that are most outstanding, right? Or Edison from, you know, Man City teams of previous years. But he's one of them that really just does everything well, right? Of course, there are certain areas where he really shines. I think his reaction saves particularly are probably the best I've seen in an Arsenal shirt from a goalkeeper throughout my life. But you then think about the claiming, the fact that he comes out and gets crosses frequently, that he gets corners frequently. It's very difficult, you know, even when people try and kind of mimic the style that we've tried to create this season in terms of crowding out the goalkeeper. You pretty much have to literally pull on his arms or do something to him to get him to not get that ball. So I would just say from that point of view as well, he's the best I think we have in the league right now. And then obviously you add on to that the fact that he's unbelievable with his feet. I really can't think of a weakness outside of penalty taking. That's literally the only thing I can think of where he jumps a bit too early. But outside of that, he is, if I were creating a goalkeeper in a lab, he's pretty much what I would create. So I do want to, just give him his flowers. And I do think one of the big things, and maybe it's the strength of the league, but this is the closest I think I've ever been to genuinely wanting to vote a goalkeeper as player of the season. Like the amount of outstanding saves, it just is nuts in terms of like the impact it had on the league. But I do think that we should probably do some honourable mentions. I was just going to say if anybody else had any other goalkeepers they wanted to call out, because I know this can tend to be a bit of a Cartel 6 affair sometimes when we talk about player of the season and team of the season.
Can I just say,
that was going to be my next question. So you don't tell me you're going to throw Keller in this.
They had a good season for Brentford. They had a very good season. We thought they were going to be relegated. It's not even a thing because he was a former player and things I've said.
I think that's
thought
fair.
they were going to go down.
I'll back that. Yeah.
And he made some banging saves against us the other day as well. I have to say, he deserved his move to be a first team goalkeeper. I can't remember if his country qualified or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. He's been good, but I think if we're talking creme de la creme for the team of the season,
not that.
I don't think he's been in the top 3 keepers. I think outside the big clubs, I think Robin Roof, Sunderland, needs a proper shout. He's been class.
Yeah.
4 million, came out of nowhere. We didn't shout them out. They got Europa League football, lads. Like they finished in 7th.
Yeah.
They did unbelievable considering they basically revamped that whole squad when they came up. So, yeah, I think Robin Roofs is a big one to call out. I think Donnarumma, like John said,
I'll give Lamens a shout out
Donnarumma
in his first season as well because
I think it's.
Don't try to sneak Lamens into this conversation.
No, I don't think.
Right. You said honourable mention.
No, he's not. Yeah. He's in the Kelleher batch. He's in the Kelleher batch. I think Raya, Roofs have been.
I think Henderson's not getting a lot of plaudits either, but I think Henderson's been great as well.
I would rate Henderson above Lamens this season under Roofs.
Yeah.
I think he's a great contrast to what you guys had in goal before, and that's probably why you're so grateful for him. And he does the easy stuff, the basic stuff good, well, which wasn't like what you had before. So you guys are happy to have him, but I don't think he's that
bias. Are you going to give Emmy? You going to give Emmy a shout out again?
I would again. Emmy Martinez would go in ahead of Lamens in any of these conversations.
I agree on your points though. Like it definitely, he's not done out. He's not been like changed the world. Lamens has literally been like a calming, regular. He's wearing flared jeans, coming to training, dressing like he's a substitute teacher type vibes, which is exactly what we needed after the goalies that we had before. But I wouldn't quite put them. I think, you know what? Someone who doesn't get mentioned, Pickford's been good this season. Pickford for me has been
he's joint third for clean sheets with Henderson and with somehow Jordi Petrovic. I don't know how that's fucking possible, but yeah.
Yeah, he's shit. But I would say Pickford's been the best English keeper, to be fair. I think he's been better than Henderson. But I hear it. I think all those guys have been pretty good. But I think this is a tap-in one. Raya's been head and shoulders above everyone else. Khem, I did want to ask you, what about Raya versus Alisson now? Do you think the dial's changed at all, or we still Alisson?
Alisson doesn't stay fit, and he's going to be out the door. Like it's the passing of the torch. Like I think he's had a higher peak than most. Like he's up there with some of the very best. But right now, it has to be Raya. Like Jonty's point earlier, he plays every week, and a lot of your matches were 1-goal margins, and he helped you out big time. So it has to be above him, just based on what we're seeing in the last 2 years. Alisson has barely played football. He literally can't be in a conversation with anyone because he fucking is out every 3 months or something. So yeah.
I've never seen a goalkeeper get injured that much. It's ridiculous. One thing I will say, it's mental.
It's ridiculous. So yeah,
it's probably the leg warmers. It's a bit of a weird.
I think he just had to have something not go in his favor because he had everything going. So he's been given the injury curse.
Yeah. All right. So we've got David Raya, unanimous. Everyone voted him in. Right back, it's unanimous again, guys. It's Jurriën Timber, 6 votes. Everyone voted him in. I think the only caveat from my side, but I'll throw it over to Io in a little bit to get your opinion, bro, was just, it feels like he's been injured for a long time, but I looked up his stats and he hasn't. He's played 30 games. So, yeah, once I saw that, any doubts or inner desires to vote for Michael Coyote were banished, and I went for Timber. So, yeah, Io, I know you're a big Timber fan. What do you think about his season this year?
Yeah, no, one of our best players. Obviously, very solid. When he does play, was a very integral part of our team. When he got injured, we did definitely lack something. But also, when he did have I feel like him and Saka did kind of clash a bit. But that was only sometimes. But no, I think if not Timber, then I'd say it would be Michael. I was going to say Coyote, I think, would have been the next best right back in the league. I think for sure. I think he's had a solid year. Like no one really gets past him down that right wing. Well, the left wing, should I say? So, but I think Timber definitely as an overall season. I don't think anyone's better overall. I know I'm seeing people like in the fish one saying like Nunes and stuff like that, but no, I don't know how. I wouldn't put Nunes over Coyote or Timber.
I'd put him as like maybe most improved player or something like that. If there was like a 12th man category type thing, I'd potentially put him in for that. But outside of that, I think people were just rating him because he was so bad.
Yeah. But he was good. It's not his position as well. So credit to him as well. Like he's not a right back by trade, is he? So he's learning a new position. But yeah, I wouldn't put him ahead of Coyote or Timber.
He could be. I will say that the improvement hasn't been minimal. It's been an epic improvement from him because he was absolutely god awful. And if you watch him now, he doesn't not look like a right back to me. He looks like a right back and a very good one. So I think Nunes definitely deserves an honourable shout. I think in this one, and I think Razor, we were joking about this before. There was a temptation to throw Szoboszlai in there because he obviously played quite a few games at right back.
Yeah, man.
But
better than Liverpool's actual right back this season.
That would have been Szoboszlai's actually a shout.
Yeah,
he's their best player. Bro, he was Liverpool's best player, like undeniably this season, in my opinion. Yeah. And he played a lot of games at right back. He definitely played enough games at right back to get past your interesting quota rule.
Yeah, he did. But I just still thought it was too disingenuous. But then Krupi at left wing came out.
No, that's actually not disingenuous. That's so allowed. Yeah,
it should be, but come on. Like it's an auxiliary right back because they had injuries. It's not like an actual.
They had
position
another right back. They had another right back.
There's too many requirements here.
I don't know.
Who's the right back? I forget.
Some youth.
We'll wait till he comes back on screen before we clarify that. But I think
do we not think that like maybe Matty Cash deserves like an honourable mention? I think he has. I mean. He's one of the ones also that has a problem with fitness, but whenever he's been playing for Villa, I will say that he's always looked really good.
Yeah, he's been.
What did I miss?
You guys have another right back that your manager refused to play, right?
Who, Ramsey, the Welsh kid or Scottish kid?
There we go. Kem's mentioned this podcast like 84 times.
He's definitely he'll be sold. I think he's out of contract.
He'll go. Honorable mention for right back and player of the season.
So I was tempted to put in my right back position to be honest.
This is what we were just discussing when you went off cam. But no, I think Cash is an honourable shout. But I think he's been one of them players that have been better in the second half of the season. He was injured and not really doing much in the beginning part of the season. So
none of them have voted Ben White because I was told his combinations with Saka were the one. I'm so confused. Which one?
Two things can be true, man. For fuck's sake.
What are we watching? Are we watching the game or are we watching Twitter? What's happening here? So it's unanimous for Timber, but the other day they were telling me Ben White combines better. He gets
everyone went.
Which one is it, man?
Everyone
went. Why do we have to choose between? Why do we have to choose between those two things?
Because one's clearly better than the other.
No, that's fine. We get that. No one in this chat ever said that Ben White and Timber.
And then I even pulled up when I said Timber actually provided going forward as well. And it became like I was shit. Like
Ben White walks into your team. Just stop it.
Yeah, but let's not make it a team for team thing. Let's just say I agree with you, right? Timber offers a lot going forward too. I guess the point that we were making is that the output of Saka is lower when Timber is on the pitch.
Saka needs to figure out himself how to get his
That's
output.
Why you're mixing up two different arguments, bro. We're not even making the argument that Ben White was better.
I just asked the question because I didn't think Timber would be unanimous after that.
You knew the answer to that question because I started this position by saying unanimous. Everyone voted Timber, so you knew that Timber is clearly their favourite right back because he's the one that everyone.
I knew. You know what? Yeah, I was checking if they knew because I was confused.
It's why you take his graciousness with a pinch of salt because this is who he is. Yeah. He's a weasel.
Anyway, an actual honourable mention. The at Palace, the Colombian guy. He's
Munoz.
Yeah,
Been injured a
yeah.
bit too, though.
He's
but
a walking yellow card, though. Also,
He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
walking
he
yellow
is
card, but he
nasty.
gets forward. He's really exciting to watch play, in my opinion.
you know
I think
what? You know what
I like
it is,
bombing fullbacks.
Yeah, I agree.
bro. You know what it is. He's cold, but it's a slightly sticky one because he's a right wing back, and they play that special position, which is not really he's not really a right back. So it's a bit weird. But I get you. He's cold, but I just think, could you imagine him at right back?
What formation did you give us to pick the team from the season from?
4-3-3, I think.
4-3-3.
So what could I do? I just want to give him an honourable mention.
Yeah.
No, I know. I hear. I agree. I agree with you.
Reece didn't with Reece James.
Right back. No, he did not.
Well,
He did
that's
not.
what I was going to say. Dishonourable mention. Where's
Oh,
Reece
wow.
James now?
I thought he'd be
Mr.
in
Once
the
a week.
midfield. Maybe he's in the
Where's he
midfield.
at? He's playing centre mid now, apparently. Reece, if you're still in the chat, get them trophies back out, son.
Best right back in the league.
He's not playing in Europe, that's for sure.
Yeah, true.
To be
all
fair,
right,
Reece James was already playing 1 game a week.
It's true. He's
It's
not
not making a
gonna
difference to his work.
You're even rounding up there as well. You're rounding
Yeah,
up.
it's like
more like
0.75
0.5.
games a week.
yeah. All right, let's go for centre backs now. We'll do it as a pair. It's Gabriel and Saliba again, unanimous. Everyone voted for them. It's a tap in. The best Premier League duo that we have right now. I know Ken might argue still Van Dijk as a single centre back, but as a duo, I think it's undeniable. Head and shoulders above the rest. Left foot, right foot, speed, power. They score goals. Yeah. Razor, do you want to wax any more lyrically about Gabriel and Saliba?
About the best centre
Israel
back
Conti.
partnership in the Prem. Absolutely. Listen, Gabriel and Saliba, perfect combination. And we've been saying this for a couple of seasons. Yeah, we've been saying, like, I think we've got the best centre back partnership in the league. I think we've got the best back. I actually think if you're going to make a top 3 of the best 3 centre backs in the league, 2 of them are ours. And I don't think either of them this season were number 3. So I feel like we've been trending in that direction for a while. Yes, there is a twerker in Scousland that was the best centre back in the league for many, many, many years. Can't ever take that away from him. Like, very goated. But right now, it is not that. It is Saliba and Gabriel. And I think they give defenders a hard time. They give referees a hard time. They're so, like, physical, but they're also clinical. Saliba's calm, controlled. He does a lot of, like, ball playing, a lot of, like, giving me, like, palpitations by just, like, holding up the ball. And, like, he's not afraid to dribble. Both of them are not afraid to get up the pitch. Gabriel's not afraid to have a pop when we're looking for a goal. Like, and then if you look at, like, the sort of, like, dominance in the air from headers, like, people talk a lot about our corners and the way that we've been approaching them. The main problem of our corners is that Gabriel was just absolutely roasting everybody's defense from set pieces. You know he's our danger man, but you can't do anything about it. He's flying in, it's in the net, your keeper's on the floor, your fans are whinging. It's beautiful. And that's when all of the rugby really reached its peak. And we were like, okay, cool. We can play this game too. Do you know what I'm saying? It's fun. It's good. But yeah, everyone's saying that next year the Prem should put more rules or more penalties, fouls in the box for, like, restricting attackers from corners. I would love it. Gabriel is winning the Golden Boot. They're going to rename it the Golden Forehead. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, 2 best centre-backs in the league. I don't think anyone can really complain about it, and that's why no one did. No one can argue with it, and that's why no one did. And yeah, I'm looking forward to them having the battle between them for who's the best centre back right now in the world, because I think that's what the next discussion is going to be.
I think it's interesting too because I think that, like, when they initially formed the partnership, everyone obviously, understandably, was focusing a lot on Saliba because I think he's a bit younger. He's a bit more silky, Rolls Royce type. A or B side of the partnership, if there is an A or B side. And and then it became Gabriel's a bit underrated, and then Gabriel just moved absolutely mad. No more bozo stuff, scoring everywhere, making big blocks, and just being a bit of a S house. And then suddenly he kind of got rated as the A side. And then now this season, it's really interesting because I think you could make an argument for either or. I think Saliba's second half of the season has been top. I think he's like he was pretty good in the first half of the season, but I think the second half of the season he's been top, and put himself into best player of the season contention. And I think Gabriel was the opposite. So it literally worked out perfectly for you. So yeah, I think honorable mentions. Who do we want to throw in, guys? There's some obvious ones, but
you got to give Guehi something. He made a big mistake that probably led to them not winning the title. But outside of that, I would just say, yeah, he's been solid, whether it was been at Crystal Palace or at Man City. So I think he gets a shout. And I'd also probably want to give one to Kusanov. Maybe I'm doing a bit of the Nunes thing here as well, where I'm comparing him to before. But he does look like he could have a lot of the tools to be a very, very, very good centre-back. So I'll probably give them to a shout-out.
That guy at Bournemouth as well. What's his name?
Senesi. Yeah, I was gonna say Senesi. Yeah, he's good, man. I think he deserves definitely an honourable mention. You know who I think deserves a mention as well is Lacroix at Crystal Palace. Since they lost Guehi, I know they've been a bit in dodgy form, but I think that's mostly because of the Conference League juggling that they're doing. But whenever I've seen him, man, he can ping a crossfield ball really nice. Like he's got that ping that you're looking for from a centre back that you want to dominate the ball. And I don't think he's probably going to be one of the next ones that people pick up off Crystal Palace. I think he's no offense to them, but I think he can play, for a Champions League challenging team or something along them lines. Anyone else you guys thinking about apart from them lot? Van Heck, maybe Brighton. Van Heck.
What about Heaven for you, man? What about him?
Nah. Come on, man.
No, I was just checking.
That was never the conversation. Oh, yeah.
No. It was absolutely the conversation because a man said that we would be happy to have him back at our team, and our centre backs are the undisputed best centre back.
What about Bob Marley and Salmon? Has he played? Nah, didn't think so.
What do you mean? How you compare?
Guys, why we don't need to talk about Heaven. He doesn't even qualify for the 40% of games played.
Exactly. What are we doing? Serious
rotation at best.
Shame.
Exactly. That was the whole argument. You know who also deserves a shout is the Sunderland centre backs. Alderete and Mukiele deserve a shout as well. They've been top. And I do think Van Heck, bro. Yeah, Dan Ballard as well. I think Van Heck deserves it as well. Van Heck at Brighton, he deserves a shout out as well. He's been. I thought he was pants at the beginning, but he's actually turned into a pretty decent centre back for them. Ball playing as well. He's good on the ball.
I think that the Brentford ones have been severely overlooked, mainly because people just don't know who they are. Like Nathan Collins as an example. He's been really good, man. He ranks highly in a lot of like the clearance and blocks and this, that, and the other stats. So I think he's one of the ones that goes under the radar just because like he's got kind of a pretty bait English name that like no one really notices him very much.
Yeah.
Rogue one, Tarkowski at Everton. Obviously,
Everton, he's been good.
And they do Everton things, but he did play 37 out of 38. Got a couple of goals, got a couple of assists. And I think he leads the lead in blocks or some random defensive stat like that. Moving like Merseyside Wembanyama, blocking everything.
He's. I agree with all them shouts. To be honest, I think I don't know how big on the Brentford ones I am, but Johns makes a fair point. They're a bit no nonsense, and I think nearly everyone in the Brentford team could probably get shout outs considering how they've managed to finish the season in ninth when we all had them buried alive. Big them up. But yeah, Gabriel and Saliba are the centre backs we've gone for. All right, left back. This is the first non-unanimous one in the positions. We actually had a bit of a split vote going on. So we had one vote for Lewis Hall. We had 2 votes for Truffert at Bournemouth. And we had 3 votes for Nico O'Reilly. So Nico O'Reilly is who we're going with at left back. But yeah, bit of a tricky one. And I think all the 3 that have been chosen have got a shout, to be honest. But I don't know about you guys, but I think we've ended up with the right player. I think Nico O'Reilly's been. I know he's played a little bit in midfield as well, but he's mostly played at left back. Come up with big goals. Attacks the box. His defensive work could probably improve, but I think he's probably been one of the standout left backs. No, Ken, what do you think?
I went with Truffert. So I mean, shout out Nico O'Reilly for what he does, but I think the point you just said there at the end, he could improve defensively. I think Truefair was balling out regardless of what his team needed him to do, and it's just crazy because we took their previous left back, and it doesn't look like they missed a beat. Like they went 18 games unbeaten, man. Unbelievable. Like, such a good run, and he's dangerous going forward as well. And he's not just like some defender like a Brexit style, just sit back and smash into you kind of. He's quite silky as well if he needs to. So, but either one of those guys that we had in that top three could easily be the winner. Though.
Yeah, you went for Lewis Hall. What's the thinking? Do you genuinely think he's better than them, or did you forget about the other options? What was your thinking?
Hey, respect me. The nerve of that comment.
Bro, you're throwing out some dumb comments.
For the left backs.
Man, the host on fire.
You're the only one who voted Hall, so I'm just trying to understand the thinking.
Because Hall's a baller. The man
he's mixing him up with Luis Thiago.
No,
yeah, exactly.
Mockery, bro.
I'm just trying to understand and explain yourself.
And if not Hall, I was gonna go Truefair as well. Like Truefair would have been my second vote over O'Reilly as well. But yeah, Hall was that. Yeah, I think Hall had a very good season. I think obviously, for Newcastle, I think one of their shining lights. Obviously, I don't think they were as impressive as they thought they were. I think they disappointed at times, but I think all round as a left back, he's just been like solid. And I remember the game against Barcelona, obviously Champions League, but like Yamal had nothing for him. Like he just completely shut him down, and he was just an absolute force. And yeah, like O'Reilly, obviously, I think O'Reilly's been amazing, but I think just pure left back play. And like Truefair, I think Truefair as well. Just if not Hall, Truefair, I think he was amazing. Like every time he goes forward, he just causes trouble. And then that City game, like that guy, I've never seen a team focus their entire attack down the left hand side, and he was just cooking them every time he went down. And that's been him most of the year. So yeah, no, I think both very good left backs, and O'Reilly's a good player as well. But yes, I think I'd still pick Hall. I was very intentional with my decision. Man, try to say that did I forget?
Just checking, man. Gotta check. But he's not in the World Cup squad. So yeah.
I know it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame, man.
Well, one of the things I was going to say about Truefair also is that and this is a big part of why I chose him was just because Man City have like 60% of the ball on average every game. On top of that, like Truefair's coming into a team that has essentially been like decimated over the last couple of years, getting to grips with new players. He loses his partner middle way through the season also. Remember, Semenyo was playing left wing for them on the same side as Truefair, and he lost that halfway through the season to Man City. So I also think that's a big one for me. I know that obviously O'Reilly contributed a lot going forward, but from the point of view of like Bournemouth having roughly 50% of the ball, being mostly a transitionary team, like I feel like Truefair's job was way harder than O'Reilly's. And I think getting back to the point is he's more of a well-rounded, in my opinion, a more well-rounded left back than O'Reilly. And then I don't think we can like discount the fact that O'Reilly, like he's a left back, but he's not really playing left back most of the time. Like Pep's system, he's moving around, he's getting into goal scoring positions. He's basically playing in a 10. I saw him playing in 10 or the central kind of midfield position a lot. And when you can like think about the fact that they've got most of the ball most of the time, and he's not actually playing in a left back position, it kind of feels a bit weird to start giving awards to people that are not really playing left back. I know that they look like they are on the team sheet, but whenever I watch them, he didn't ever feel like he was actually in a left back position.
Yeah, I think Hall and Truefair are obviously traditional left backs. O'Reilly is the inverted, more attacking, marauding left back that you see at a few different teams. Razor, you got any other honourable mentions for left back? I found this one quite hard, I'm not going to lie. Outside of those three...
Piero Incapie. First season in the country. Certain man's left backs that they brought in this year, they've played in the Prem before, but they did not look like it. I feel like Piero just settled in instantly. Very good in terms of like going forward, but like when we're talking about like what a traditional left back does, he loves the defending, he loves getting stuck in. And I actually think the best Arsenal run in our very accomplished and wonderful season was probably when we had Timber and Hincapié starting at left back. I know a lot of people like Calafiori because he's a chaos baller and he might be anywhere. He's like playing like type 1-2s on the right wing with Saka. But yeah, I think just in terms of, you know, similar to the discourse we were having about like, Ben White can unlock Saka more. Should he be starting? I think I want my fullback to be someone. I want my fullback to be the better defender. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you're under a lot of pressure to keep clean sheets and not concede. And I think, yeah, Piero did very well with that this season. I think, yeah, Truffert was nearly... It's kind of mad because I think I deliberated about Truffert versus Nico O'Reilly, and I think if I had picked the other way, then it would have swung the vote. But yeah, I just think Nico O'Reilly had a lot of moments this season, and I think it's quite difficult. I know we're talking about like how often City have the ball and how dominant they are in possession and Pep system, but I think it's very difficult if you're like a young player to like come in and like takes like the whole like thing by storm when you're in such like when you're in an institution like City. Do you know what I mean? You got a manager like Pep, you're playing with players like Haaland, etc. So yeah, I think Nico O'Reilly like became the story several times for City during this season, and that's just why he picked Truffert. But Truffert's been banging. He's been in my FPL team for a while now, stacking up the points. Thank you, my guy.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think you can argue both sides. Though I think you can argue it's understandably more difficult to not have the ball as much. But I think some people can argue with the other way as well. Having the ball puts the onus on you. You've got to do something special with it, and that's also not that easy either. So I think that every vote makes sense. Even Io's Lewis Hall won, even though it was just one. I think it makes sense. I think he's been one of their better players as well. All right, let's move on to CM. We got one CM who got 6 votes. I think we can all guess who that is. And we got one CM who got 4 votes. We'll start with a unanimous one. It's Declan Rice, 6 votes. Everyone voted for him in centre midfield. I think that was a tap-in, one of Arsenal's best players. Up for player of the season. Driving force for Arsenal has been pivotal in this title race.
Who didn't vote for him?
No one did. Everyone did.
Oh,
Everyone
okay,
voted for him.
Nash didn't vote at all, I'm guessing.
Nash didn't vote at all. So the max you can get is 6. That's the maximum. So unanimous for Declan Rice.
I didn't vote for Rice.
Did you not?
No, you're not checking your thing, bro. I'm the fire host once again.
That is true. There's 5. So Khem just revealed himself as the one person who didn't vote for Declan Rice.
Please don't lie to anyone
disgrace.
To all 3 of our viewers, stop lying.
Yeah. Apologies. I couldn't believe my eyes. All right. So 5 votes for Rice and then 4 votes for Elliot Anderson. So we've gone full out England midfield, centre midfields. We did get some votes that were those players. So Khem voted for Szoboszlai and Alex Scott.
I was just saying,
I was right back, you silly Billy.
Do you know what? I was
right
watching
back,
that.
you silly Billy.
I had to get a hate. I had to get some kind of hate in there. I had to do it, mate. I had to do it. Yeah, I forgot about Anderson, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, Szoboszlai, baby, silence the haters.
Yeah. So what about Declan Rice then? Who wants to? Jonts, do you want to? Io, Jonts, Razor. Who wants to jump in and sing his praises? 5 votes, only Khem. So basically 6.
Based off the things that Io was saying about him yesterday, I feel like Io should go first with this one.
Based what I said about Rice, I'm confused.
I'm not doing it. Don't get all defensive. I'm not doing it in a bad way. I'm just saying that you were very happy about it. Come on.
No, Rice is what a season. That is what 100 million Great British pounds gets you. That is a player that came in. He changed the team, like he was a catalyst. I think when we signed him, we knew I think obviously he came with pressure for himself, but without him this season. Obviously the rock at the back, you can see that we got our spine, and he's a big part of that spine. He completely, even when people try and mock his going forward, or he doesn't control a game, maybe he doesn't dictate. Him just being there just is so important for us, and we wouldn't be where we were this season whatsoever without Declan Rice. And watching him play, he drives us forward. You can tell leadership. You can tell he's got the respect from everybody else on the team. Arteta trusts him, And yeah, you can see why City wanted him. You can see why he was highly rated. And yeah, he's definitely one of the best midfielders in the world, if not, and in the Prem. Yeah, honestly, I think on his day, there's not a centre mid better than him. Like, I think he can improve his game. I don't think he's the most. He's a very all-round midfielder. I think obviously going forward might be maybe dictating. He can get into his game. Maybe that might be the next level forward for him. But what he does do, he does it to like the highest level. And yeah, not going to get into the PFA Player of the Year and all that jazz because we all know where it should be going. But unfortunately, the voters have been blinded by stats and statisticians and all that nonsense. But what Rice? Yeah, you gotta love Deckers, man. He's a proper player, and I think that's what we missed that for a long time, having a centre mid that can just be there and not be scared. So yeah, 100%. Rice, best front in the Prem, easily.
Yeah, he's been a constant when you've played around, especially going into the title running. He didn't get moved. It was the other midfielders around him that shuffled around. So that tells you how important he is. Rightly in the player of the season race. We'll see how that ends up. What about Elliot Anderson? Because I feel like this is one which, to your point, Io, if you look at the individual metrics, he scores like highly on nearly every single one. If he's not number one, he's number 2 or number 3 in every single metric, whether it's on the ball, off the ball. But if you look at his impact in terms of the stats, like goals and assists, he doesn't have loads. It's quite modest, right? But I didn't personally vote Anderson, but he was the next person that was on my list. So I don't know who voted Anderson. Jonts, I think you did. Why did you vote Elliot Anderson?
Just because I think you mentioned it. He does it all, and again, getting back to the point of why I like Declan Rice and why I like what he offers to the team is that he's very well rounded, right? He offers pretty much everything at an above average rate. And that was one of the things I noticed about Elliot Anderson. I mean, when I was first kind of listening and hearing about him, I was expecting him to just be kind of a bit of a DM destroyer type, what I expected Caicedo to essentially end up being, which he's not right now. But from watching him more and more, he offers loads on the ball as well. Like he's able to put in really good assists. He can also dominate, in the traditional way that I thought he would. And I just think from the point of view of like what you want in a central midfielder, that's what you want. You want someone that can play any of the roles, right? We get really weird about football now, where we talk about all these different roles of a DM and a 6 and an 8 and a 10. And a trequartista and all these various different football manager terms that people are using these days about different types of central midfielders. But he just feels like a throwback from kind of like the old school Roy Keane type days of just a midfielder like Vieira that can do it all. And that's one of the things that I find most attractive about him. And from the point of view of this formation that we're playing being kind of 2 CMs, that can either be a more defensive one or more attacking one. I feel like he checks the bill for everything. And that was one of the big things that I just noticed about him. I don't think he's in a great team. I'm sure loads of people are looking at him thinking, how was a guy that finished, what was it, like 15th or 16th or wherever they finished in the table, how's he going to get into the Premier League team of the season? But I just think about, like, from the point of view of what would they have been without him? And I would argue not very much. Him and one other player that I think we'll talk about a little bit later, I don't think that team would be very much without him. So, I think it's still early and I don't want to go too early on him. And I'm hearing like 100 million plus pounds being put on his head and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not necessarily pushing it that far, but yeah, he looks like a really good talent. And I just genuinely think that he could do pretty much any role you asked him to do within a team.
Yeah, I don't think it is going early. I think we're at that stage, whether you agree with 100 mil or not. That's what's being bandied about for him. So if he moves somewhere, that's what's going to be paid, which is mad. But I was one of the doubters as well when I heard a lot of because there's been a lot of gas about Elliot Anderson back from the back end of last season, I reckon, and I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, when you watch him, he's proper. He does both sides of the ball, and he's been really good. But my vote actually went for Granit Xhaka because I think he's been mint, and I do think without Granit Xhaka, I don't think there's been a lot of stuff out there talking about Sunderland and saying that a lot of people referenced his signing as the one that kind of convinced them to consider Sunderland as a team. So I think if you don't get Granit Xhaka, you don't get any of the other players that we've given credit for this season. And I think he's been their leader. So, Granit Xhaka got a lot of grief when he was an Arsenal player, but I think he's come back and he's been solid for them. Very good. So he got my vote. But
so what you're saying is, no Xhaka, no Brobby, or African Beast.
No Brobby, no Mukiele. No one called him an African Beast, so you need to settle yourself down. But yeah, nice try, brother. But no, I think you don't get any of those top players. That's what they said. Like if you, I know you man don't give a shit about Sunderland and my second team in that, but they
Don't do that.
they reference. Well, no, I'm not aiming that at you, Razor. You know who I'm aiming at. So yeah, they referenced him being the trigger point for them to consider going to Sunderland, and I believe it too. Imagine you're a baller playing for a European team and you hear Sunderland. You're not necessarily gonna be like, oh yeah, absolutely have to go and play for them. But if you start to see recognizable players and players that have been top, you'll consider it. And yeah, they've built a really good squad, and he's been good, man. So shout out Xhaka. Any other honourable mentions for people we haven't mentioned? Obviously, Szoboszlai got voted. Scott, yeah, Wharton. All right, go on, Razor. Give you a pitch for Wharton.
I think the reason that he's an honourable mention is that I think he's been fantastic for Palace this season. In what, as I think Jonty said it earlier, has been a bit of an up and down season for Palace, a bit here and there. Palace season, they finished where they generally tend to finish, but they've gone on this amazing European Cup run, and I feel like he's been a pivotal point in that, both in the Prem and in Europe, and people have been raving about him. And I think he's the next, when we're talking about 100 mil for Anderson, probably some of that is, the English tax or whatever, but I think he's going to be the next beneficiary of that English tax. It is interesting, and maybe the reason that he's an honourable mention and not one of my votes is probably because I think he looks really good in the Palace team. And I think there's been a lot said about like how he could play, like for England and stuff, and how he could play if he gets a big money move. And I just think like he's so good on the ball, and I think it's like his off the ball things that like keep him away from maybe that like upper echelon of midfielders that we're talking about for the two in the team of the season. But yeah, I think he's been fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's good. Khem, I know you're not a massive fan of Wharton, judging by our group chat conversations. What's your take on Adam Wharton as an honourable mention?
Am I lagging, first of all? Or can you hear me?
No, you're just too slow to take
we can.
No, it was lagging as I was clicking it. But you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, my thing with Wharton was more like, I actually like him, but that was a topic about the England squad. Like, I feel like I see a lot of. I was talking about him out of possession as well. I think he had a good season-ish, but I think we're throwing a bit of English bias into. I think his season last year was better than this one by far. I think he got exposed a lot defensively, quite a lot. You can run by the guy, but he's young. He's got time to improve on that element of his game. The vote I gave, other than messing around when I put Szoboszlai in and stuff and not putting in Rice in. But he would technically be an honourable mention is Alex Scott, because I don't know where the hell this guy came from, but I think he absolutely balled out for that team. They're so fun to watch. We'll see how he gets on as his career moves on, and he'll probably get a move to a bigger club at some point. But he's an absolute standout for me. I like Anderson as well, but I'm going to throw in some tax there as well, because not that long ago, the guy was in a relegation scrap, same with Wharton. So that's kind of why I couldn't vote for them. Like, they finished off strong. We see them for the national team, but they were fighting for their lives. And to be honest, they're quite fortunate that Spurs and West Ham together are just completely shit. Otherwise, we might be talking about players that are in the division below. So I'm not going to get like too crazy about those two players, because yeah, I think Anderson's amazing. I saw him, like, he destroyed us when we played them at Anfield. But I think we still need to see some more. He'll be an expensive transfer wherever he goes, but I'm not going to go too high on him, like putting him in like a team with a Declan or something like that. I'd rather put someone else in, like Scott literally finishing the Champions League. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas the other two will fight for their lives.
This whole fighting for your lives as a player, like the one of the players you just gave a big ass send off to was fighting for his life with Hull when you signed him, and he turned into one of the best left backs in the world. So I don't know why this judgment on players in poor teams is like.
I think it's
Robertson wasn't looked at as Hull's best player though. He wasn't the best player for Hull. Like
but
my point remains. But my point remains is you're using the team. You're using struggling as a player.
Sentiments have more influence on the game.
It's still a player.
I think the point that Khem is making is that like they have to wait, like they have to be good for that team, cool, and then they have to be good enough to get the move to the next team and then make that step before he's going to put them into a team in the season.
Like, if the situation was like 6 years ago, I'd be saying the same thing about Rice when he was coming.
But this is honourable mentions, and also he voted for Scott, and I know they finished 7th or whatever, and he's done really good. But if you have to wait for them to get the move to the next team before you're rating them, how can you put him in while he's at Bournemouth?
It's not the move. It's the same point that you had when you were talking about Anderson coming out of last season. If anything, his season might have been worse than last season if you actually look at it.
Yeah, I hear it, but I think if you use that to judge an individual performance is a bit harsh, because I'll throw another honourable mention in there.
We're also not doing the team of the season for last season.
Yeah, exactly. But honourable mention.
I feel like they've regressed.
Wait.
It's just their English.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna throw another name in there who's not English, but he ticks the criteria that you're just talking about. I think Matheus Fernandes has had a very good season for West Ham. They've gone down, and they've been shit.
Nah, he's shit.
But he's been clearly one of their best players. And if it wasn't for him and the new signings they had and Jared Bowen, that team wouldn't have had a last day kerfuffle to even cover on Sky Sports. So
I think he looks good because the rest of them are terrible. I don't know, man. Fernandes just looks good. He's like a small fish in a really small puddle. Like he's fucking shite, man. I don't know. A lot of that's hate because of his one-on-one against Raya, but also I don't think he's that great, bro. West Ham are just that bad.
I kind of get the point, and maybe this is not the point that Khem made, but when I was thinking about this, one of the things I did think about though was like when you are in the bottom like segment of the table, I'd argue actually that one individual player having a really, really good season can be enough to pull you out of that, right? Just being unbelievable, you can kind of be pulled up by a couple of great players. And a good example is just what Jared Bowen has basically done for West Ham in previous seasons, not this season, but in previous seasons before, where he's basically single-handedly kept them moving and shaking, right? And I guess that was one of the big things I thought is like, I had a hard time looking at Matheus Fernandes and saying, okay, well, he deserves to be near the Premier League team of the season, because really, if he was so good, in that part of the table, being so good should be enough to pull you out, right? And that's where I kind of look at Elliot Anderson, I look at one other person, but I look at them and I do think like, because they were so good, Nottingham Forest did not go down. And that argument doesn't necessarily work with the Matheus Fernandes. But the other thing I'll say is just on the Wharton point is like, getting back to my Elliot Anderson point is, I think people do go a little bit big on him, because he fits into this like Spanish midfielder profile, but he's English. And we're so like unaccustomed to seeing somebody of that type. And I would argue that Jack Wilshere got a similar type of, I think, plaudit when he came on the scene in a similar way, because he didn't really look English. And I think Phil Foden's also benefited from that in a massive way too. So I do think there's a part of me that looks at it and thinks, well, is it just overhyped because he's so different to what we want or so different to what we usually create that's the reason why he's being hyped up? And the only thing, like to Khem's point, not that I enjoy like massively agreeing with him, but like Wharton is the exact opposite of my argument for Elliot Anderson, which is you buy Wharton if that is the very specific type of midfielder you are looking to buy. You buy Anderson if you are just looking for a midfielder that can do anything that you ask him to do. And I think in this kind of day and age of versatility with like Arteta and his style, but also now what other managers are doing, I think versatility wins. And that's why I really did go for Anderson over Wharton, because Wharton was definitely in my mind. It's just that was the reason I chose to go for Anderson over him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options, but I think there's a few of those honourable mentions that are closer to actually being voted in than others. But I think if we're getting to Wharton's and this whole argument about, being in a struggling team, I just think I get it. If your criteria is to wait to spend 100 million on them, I agree with what Khem's saying. If it's talking about putting them as an honourable mention for team of the season, I don't think it applies because it's just based on performance. So let's be real.
Well, his performance was so good, he got overlooked by Tuchel. So okay,
all right, yeah, fair enough.
Does Casemiro deserve a shout?
No, he does. I think, but he's also in the honourable mention side because I think his goals distort the performance, and it's a lot of headers and it's a lot of they're big goals for our team. But if you look at like what you just mentioned about the all-action midfielders we've put in there, he's not that. We know he's not. Like he's being protected a little bit in the position that he's in, and he's had a good season and he's bounced back. But I think for me, if you go purely off stats, you can make any argument you want. But as a United fan on here, I wouldn't put him in. But I think you just give him some props because he's a legendary midfielder and he didn't go out sad. He actually went out decently. So you got to give him credit for that. Nine Prem goals is not too bad for a 34, 35-year-old DM. So you can't complain. All right, let's move on to attacking midfielder. So it was 4 votes for Bruno Fernandes and 2 votes for Morgan Gibb-White. So, yeah, the 2 smiling, smirking lads are the ones that voted for Gibbs-White. So we'll let them get their rocks off before we get into the Bruno Fernandes, who's been voted in with his 4 votes. Ayo, you had some reasoning when you sent in your Croupy selection team. Do you want to share them with the folks?
Yeah, I think the criteria to be voted into a team this season is playing more than 1 game a week, and I think it would not be fair for me to hype up Bruno Fernandes when Morgan Gibbs-White was the best, had such a high goal scoring season, took for us into the semi-finals of the Europa League, and I think he's just being all around. I think he's so influential, as what you guys described about being a good player that helps the team stay up. I think Gibbs-White, and without Gibbs-White, Forest definitely don't stay up. People see with Anderson, but I think as a player, I think the goal he scored against on the weekend, or the weekend past, where he just opens his body up, like the technique. That man he's just got so much technique, it's ridiculous. And I think as well, I just had to. Yes, Bruno's had a great year, but again, I think when you're fully rested every weekend, like you're going to play good football. So I had to try and get like a qualifier, like a sort of thing I need to judge players by. And you play 1 game a week and having these numbers, I had to be strict and be stringent, and that's why I gave the nod to Gibbs-White. And I think he's got 18 goals and 10 assists, or like 9 assists or something. No.
He's got 15 goals, and I can't see his assists yet. He's got 4 assists. But that's not denying he's had an unbelievable season. Because remember, this is the Premier League team of the season. This is not every single game you've played in friendlies and all these type of things. But
I'll get out of there, man. I was trying to
no, it is. It's literally the Premier League team of the season. You wouldn't understand because you tried to put Croupy left wing and he's not played 1 game for all season.
These other games affect how he's going to play because he's playing Champions League. Of course they do. Playing European football during the season.
We're quantifying the Premier League performance. We're not quantifying the other things.
I've got to bring in the factors here, and that's why Gibbs-White takes a nod. And I thought everyone else would be aligned with that, unfortunately, but I guess the stats came over.
Obviously, the FPL bridesmaids had a little collusion yesterday at the parade to do this. But you know what? Jokes aside, he's been class. It has come in like this last 3 months. He's just exploded. I think he's on like one of the craziest runs for goals consecutively in the Premier League. He's scored tons and tons of goals. Most of them have been in the back end. But to Jonty's point earlier, Forest would not have stayed up if it wasn't for Gibbs-White and Anderson. Probably even more Gibbs-White than Anderson if you look at the impact he had with the goals. Because there are games in it where he scored the winner or he scored the equaliser and he brought them back in to actually get points, which they desperately needed to get away from relegation. So
maybe Vito Pereira was just, he just had that team set up properly, the same team that was in the top half last season. And they finally found their manager. Like you said last week, instead of pissing about with Ange and Sean Dyche and all this stupidness because of the Greek Shignite, allegedly, they got in a manager that can actually get a good squad of players that was expensively assembled together playing well.
Yeah,
So that goes
I do
with
think
my
I do.
Anderson thing as well. We just had players performing.
No,
like they
you're
should.
right. I agree, bro. I agree. I think actually Forest will be looked at in a more positive light than they should have been, considering how well they played last season, and they've actually had a mad drop off. And that is probably a lot to do with the managerial changes that they've made. They've got a good manager now, and I think next season to keep some players, they'll be in it. But any other honourable mentions that you guys can think of, other than Gibbs White? We've got votes, obviously, and Bruno. Are there any other cams that you think we should shout out?
Firstly, for the record, Bruno actually got 3. Bruno Fernandes. He only got 3 votes. I voted for Bruno. Ratbag didn't actually break the record. Fernandes.
Yeah.
So let the record
You gave
reflect
his
that.
full name. You gave his full government. Yeah, true.
Absolutely. I don't know if he fits technically here, but John McGinn. He plays on the right sometimes. He plays forward sometimes, but he plays very well often. And yeah, like personally, I had the opportunity or the pleasure of doing some work with some of the players at Villa. Like early in the season. I think it was like after Villa went on that woeful beginning of the season run where they hadn't like scored in, was it 4 or 5 games? And he was very cool and very calm, and he was very positive about them turning around and like sort of making it out of there. And he kind of brings that energy to the pitch, but he also is like, he's got so much like passion for the team. He's a great captain. I think we talk about, you know, Spurs' captain and the decisions there. We talk about Arsenal's captain and who we think that player should or shouldn't be. I think when you look at Villa, there's not really any question about who their captain should be. It's 110% John McGinn, you know what I mean? I think he's like led them through some good stuff this season. He's played really well, scored some goals. And yeah, I just think, you know, break out of our big 6 continued scope. And I was thinking that, and I just thought, yeah, there's been several times this season where I've watched him and thought played very well there, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say
More
Dewsbury
right.
Hall as well. Dewsbury Hall was I know he's been in and out, and he's not in the best team, but I think he has been a very good influence. I'm also glad that he just kind of found the team now, because obviously he was part of what Chelsea bomb squad or whatever. So it's nice to actually see him get on the pitch and show what he's made of. And I think he has been really good. But outside of that, I think it has been kind of slim pickings. The only other thing I was going to say was obviously Eze. Obviously, bearing in mind the fact that he didn't actually play all the season and so on and so forth, I think he made a good impact for us. But I think that actually, to me, shows the general level of attacking midfielders this year. If a player that I'm trying to give an honourable mention to did not even start, I think, 30 games, right? So from that point of view, I think Harry Wilson, I put him in a different position because he played more on the right wing.
Oh,
yeah,
fair enough. Because he had a good year, Harry Wilson. I think he got double-digit goals.
But this is where it gets a bit tricky though, because I agree with everyone, all the people that you guys have mentioned. But positionally, it's about where they've played the most. And you know who's a shout, but you can also go left wing, is Morgan Rogers. He's actually played cam more than he's played left wing. And if you consider that, I would definitely throw him in the mix. I know it's gone a bit off the boil in the back end of this season. It was definitely very good at the beginning part of the season. But I think he deserves a bit of a shout out. But
he can get one. But I mean, my big issue with Morgan Rogers is like he's an elite finisher of opportunities, right? Like he's an elite long shotter. But if you actually watch him, like he creates very little. And that's my issue with him, is that like if you look at his XG, if you look at a lot of these things, like he's actually like massively overperforming his XG. He ends up like finishing opportunities that most other people wouldn't finish, but he's not actually creating that much. And just to get back to my point on why I voted for Morgan Gibbs White over Fernandes, that was the main thing it came down to. Is like it was what do you create, but also how can you finish it? And I think if you're going to give Morgan Rogers a shout out, I feel like Gibbs White deserves an even bigger shout out, because he's in a very similar situation, even worse situation. If you think about the fact that Morgan Gibbs White is playing for a team that barely has any of the ball. And when they do have the ball, it's like almost all on him to do something with it. And I think his numbers are crazy if you look at, like, considering the fact that, yeah, he also played like fucking 52 or 57 games a season in comparison to the other people that we're talking about. So, yeah, FPL bridesmaid has spoken.
Yeah, I think these three are the three that you would mention though, based on the slim pickings we have in this position. I think you can't really branch out too much. Like the McGinn, right wing, he's played mostly. Some of the other guys you've mentioned, Harry Wilson, they're going to be on the right wing as well. There's the players who played at Cam?
Is
I don't
anyone
know
else
how
getting
many
mad
options you
shade?
have.
Yeah, there's like feedback. Was it me?
And yeah,
How bad?
someone's
Can you hear me now?
no, mate.
Technical difficulties.
And this is why the host is under fire.
No, we can't hear you now. We can't hear you now, mate. You figure it out. I'll try and be a less under fire host while you try to figure that out. But I think the general point that he's making, yeah, it's difficult because a lot of the people that we put in here are kind of roaming around. I think we've seen it a lot now. Like, is there really such thing as a traditional 10 anymore? It's pretty hard to notice.
Yeah.
Because another one, I don't know if you guys were looking at him, but like Cherky, I don't know where the fuck this guy actually plays, but he plays like
I didn't
a
know
10.
where to put him.
So
Him
it's
and
really
Rodgers, I didn't
difficult
know
for
where
me
to
to.
put them.
Exactly. So it is really difficult and like weird to try and say this. And it ends up going to just the person that actually plays that role the most or plays more of what we actually think a person should do in that role. So that's the thing that I found quite difficult about this. But I mean, can you lot think of anyone from like a smaller team? You know, obviously in the spirit of Alex Scott and some of these other players we mentioned, can you think of any other like players from smaller teams that have been good?
You know, you guys a shout, but only for the second half of the season. I think, and I just saw his goal again today. But bloody Emi Bendia,
Yeah,
for Villa, he has been on a tear like since like February. And I remember that goal he scored for Villa when Matty Cash pings it over to him and then pings it over to Digne, and then he just controls it like Zidane-esque. And his finishes are just ridiculous. What he's been, and he finds spaces like no one's business, but. Again, I think obviously him, Rodgers, and McGinn pretty much all played at 10 at some point when they bring Villa play. So as you said, yeah, it's kind of hard to actually pin down who's a number 10 there. But yeah, nothing.
What was his name? Enzo Lefebvre from Sunderland. I know. Obviously they've kind of had a mixed, but he's always looked a bit techie. But he feels like one of those ones again that kind of goes under the radar because we don't know who the fuck he is.
Oh, for sure. Comes
because they signed so many players, we forget half of them.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I mean, the only other person I was going to say was just like Tavernier. I feel like he probably doesn't get a huge amount of ratings from Bournemouth, and he actually. I always get him mixed up. Is it with his brother that plays for Rangers?
His brother, Rangers, yeah, like the fullback, yeah.
But he's always looked like really good for them, particularly like filling in once Semenyo kind of left to be that kind of main attacking outlet. Obviously on top of Krupi as well, but. I feel like he's probably gone under the radar. But I will just say, I think what I mentioned earlier about just kind of the positional freedom that people have now, it does feel like really slim pickings in this attack and mid position.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, it is a tough position to pick someone in. All right, let's move to right wing then, because right wing and left wing are both a bit tricky. But people have voted a whole bunch of different combinations. But essentially, the votes have concluded that Ryan Cherky's in at right wing. He got 3 votes. He's played the most of his appearances at right wing. And then his second most have been at Cam. But even that goes back to Johnson's point with Nico O'Reilly at left back. He kind of starts right wing. He doesn't really do most of his work there. He's always drifting in. But that is who people voted for. 3 votes for Cherky at right wing. Jonty did vote for Harry Wilson at right wing. Io voted for Semenyo at right wing, which makes sense as well. And Razor as well voted for Semenyo at right wing. But yeah, it was a mixture because Semenyo also got voted at left wing, which we can do now as well. Semenyo was voted in with 3 votes at left wing. So we've ended up with Ryan Cherky at the right wing and Semenyo on the left wing. Khem, what do you make of Cherky and his first season in general in the Prem?
Yeah, I put him. To be honest, I only put him right wing so I can get Bruno in the teams. I actually almost forgot about Bruno, but he had a solid first season. let's see how he gets on without Pep, I suppose. I think his stats flatter him a bit more than maybe. I wouldn't say Shirky like ran games and stuff, but at the end of the day, what did they spend, like 30 mil or something? They got much better value out of him than we got out of our fucking attacking mid, innit? So I'm not gonna slander the guy. He was very dangerous. He had moments where he was just like terrifying, but then there's also games where, like, I mean, the crazy match against Everton is where you needed Shirky to take over the match and calm things down. The things like that both of the Silvers had done in the past, as an example of like midget attacking midfielder type players with a left foot. He wasn't able to do that for them, and there was a lot of games that got away from them. It's not just the Everton draw; they drew with, like Forest and Spurs and all this stuff. So like he was good, but I think there's more to come from him for sure.
Yeah, I think the only downside to Cherky's first season, I think, is that when you got in the crunch time, right at the end of the season, Pep started dropping him.
For Foden of all people.
Yeah, exactly. And that little spurt before then, he was pretty good. Like, he obviously, balled out in a few big games in that initial period to pull City back into the title race. But it seems like when it got right down to the end, Pep decided to drop him. So I actually think he's, depending on how Maresca feels about Cherky as a player, he might benefit more from having another coach to help fit him in the system better. Because I do think Pep struggled a little bit to try and fit him into the way he wanted to play. He just had moments of brilliance, I think, that were really good. But any other honourable mentions apart from Semenyo? Jonty, you shouted out Harry Wilson, who obviously did really well. He scored quite a few goals and got quite a few assists this season. Free agent. He's probably going to leave Fulham. Anyone else that we want to shout out for right wing?
Jeremy Doku.
But he's left wing, no?
Or left wing. We did both the wingers in one go, so I thought we were doing both the honourable mention.
Yeah, we can do, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Doku. I put Doku left wing as well. And Semenyo right wing.
That's. I believe that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I think that too.
I think Jarrod Bowen also probably deserves a shout out. I know, obviously, I made the same point earlier, which is like they went down anyway. But obviously, I just want to make sure that he gets an honourable mention. But not saying that I'd actually put him forward as winning the award because of the aforementioned fact that he's going down. But it'll be funny to see him play for a better team next year.
Supposedly, he might stay. I've heard today because he's got his contract. I think his contract to like 2030, and supposedly they're saying that
his contract to Danny Dyer, mate. He can't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he said supposedly once he actually bring him back up, so which would be shocking. But yeah, we shall see.
I guess the thing is quite late in his career, right?
Yeah, but surely that would encourage him to go. He's got less time left. He'll want to go play for a better team, challenging for something. But it would be nice if he stayed with them because there's not much loyalty for teams when they go down. A lot of players just flee immediately. But he is one that I actually didn't think had that great of a season, and it's kind of it's snuck up on you because you look at the stats and he's got good. He's scored a decent amount of goals and he's just got a decent amount of assists. So he's obviously helped them get into that position. But yeah, I think Cherky, Semenyo, Doku, you could rotate them all.
Another one that doesn't have the stats, but I think for impact, it was bloody Ryan.
Yeah, very good.
Well, yeah. Every time that man got on the ball, he just looks like he's going to cause you havoc. Yeah, every time I'm like, he just puts the fear of God into you as a left back, I think. And he's like, he's bloody, and he seems tall as well. Like, he just seems like an absolute he just seems like he's just a beast of a player. He's like 19 or 20 or 21 or something. He's young as well. So
he's young,
yeah. I think he's got a lot of talent as well. So yeah,
I'm gonna give your boy Trossard an honourable mention
for clutch moments
for his impact. Yes, I'm going to give him that because when you needed a goal at times and it really didn't look like it was going to come from anywhere, and in Europe as well. But yeah, in the Premier League, man, Trossard just I don't know.
No, but Razor will tell you when we watched that game against Spurs, I'm sure that man was playing against us for the first 45 minutes.
Yeah,
he's a very wasteful player, man. Like you don't want him anywhere near your halfway line, but you want him close to the goal. Like if he's close to the goal, then I don't care. Waste whatever you got to waste. But if he's near the halfway line, he just for some reason just hammers the ball into the air for no reason and gives it away when we're like trying to dominate
Zero
possession.
composure, bro. No, that Tottenham game radicalized me, bro. I've never been so angry watching for 45 minutes. I was like, this man. But then, yeah, clutch moments. He's just big goals. He knows. I think he's our best finisher as well. To be fair, so
yeah,
he's not giving him
outside of credit.
Yeah, I'll just speak of some wide players.
I was going to say Gakpo, man, and another hated player that maybe needs to mention is Cody.
Cody.
All right, then let's go.
Where would Liverpool be without Cody's goal contribution? Where would Liverpool be without Cody's goal contribution?
It is true, man. He's an important player for them, man.
I know you lot are not being harsh when you say Trossard and the goal and the clutch moments, but I actually think it wasn't only that. In the first part of the season, his form was good. Like he was quite consistent. But then I hear you. He did kind of have a rough patch.
January, there was a 2 month. Yeah. There was a 2 month period that man just looked like he forgot how to play football for. I don't know why.
The man said Gakpo.
Okay, that's not even a screen.
Why? It's already 30 degrees.
You can't even hear us.
Make me crash out and get even more angry
and
sweat out this shirt. Absolutely.
You've got numbers, mate.
Give us a monologue. Come on.
What numbers? If you want,
Gakpo's arguably been your best attacker after Ekitike this season.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Arguably. Okay.
Yeah. Well, argue it then. Who has been a better attacker for you than Gakpo this season, other than Ekitike?
His numbers.
He's rattled. He don't know what to do.
7 goals.
His numbers are
non-penalty only.
So for left wing, we've voted Semenyo, and my thinking on this is primarily his form at Bournemouth. Although he was very good when he came to Man City and played, but he played mostly right wing. But when he was at Bournemouth left wing, like Jonty said, they kind of have to shift things around, move Tavernier to the left, and then Ryan's kind of become, to your point, Io, like their big danger man on the wings. But he was class in that first half of the season. Obviously, got the move. So I think Semenyo on the left or right. The versatility to the point earlier is there. All right, let's wrap it up then. We've got centre forward. This is one everyone's had a flipping mare. Like the votes, we've all over the place. We've had a vote for João Pedro. We had a vote for Ekitike.
Oh God, Reece, what have you done?
Come off, mate. These are holders, mate.
We had a vote for Ekitike. We had two votes for Haaland and 2 votes for Thiago. So we're absolutely at deadlock. And the thing is, I went back and asked Reece and Khem to vote for one or the other, and they split the vote again. So it's 3 votes for Thiago and 3 votes for Haaland.
No,
so
listen, I thought
we're deadlocked again.
Be in there, guys. I saw him the other day. He's not good, man. He's they talk about overperforming when you're XG. This is the guy. I thought Kinder Bueno was the most. You
need consistency in your arguments. You said man them that were getting relegated couldn't be in the thing, yeah. Flipping Brentford have had an amazing season, and Thiago has been really the linchpin for that. He's been the linchpin for that. Like, he's gotten a lot of goals. He's been like. It's more impressive the amount of goals that he scored at Brentford than it is the amount of goals that Haaland scored at City. It is relatively more impressive.
That part is very true. But I think Haaland's a victim of his own success, though. Because to get 26 goals and not have any shouts is crazy.
No, he's not. He's not a victim of his own
season,
success.
and we're saying,
he is, because 26 goals in any season is nuts.
He also got 9 assists, bro.
In 4 years.
He got 9 assists. Yeah. He overperformed his XG.
And that's a crazy now. That's a crazy number.
He was actually defensively better this season as well. He was actually doing more outside the box.
I think that's what I mean. I agree with Thiago. Like what he done for Brentford, I think more impressive because it's Brentford. But anytime a striker gets 26 goals and 9 assists, that's a ridiculous output. The fact he's not even getting mentioned in like player of the year shouts is because of how good
he should be. He
Yeah,
should be.
I'd be really literally.
I agree. And Johnson's point is probably the actual kicker for someone to find it impossible to ignore. He's never been an assister. He's never got assists. It's literally been goals and inshallah. There was no other like facets to his statistical game beforehand. And he's literally got 9 assists. I think he's got the 3rd highest assist record for the season. The reason why I'm not going to change my mind, though, is because Haaland had a disgusting drought of no goals for ages. And Thiago was consistent throughout all. He didn't score every game, but he didn't have some long, barren period. And arguably, he's under more pressure to not have that because he's playing in a team that are, people expected him to go down. So that was the reason why I thought I agree with Khem's point.
8 penalties.
Yeah, okay, but penalties still count, man. But Haaland is obviously a better player. But going on the season, I would still pick Thiago. I understand he's stinky some games, but he turned up for Brentford, in my opinion. So
who was more impactful? Who was more impactful for their team this season?
I would think if you look at
argument for both, I've got to say Thiago.
Yeah. Brentford were actually higher up in the table, and then they had a moment where they fell down. Just saying, they should have been a lock for at least Europa League, and they didn't even get anything. They didn't even get conference. So when you needed Thiago to be impactful, I'm just saying, Brentford were higher up.
Yeah, I know they were higher up before, but you telling me when they were higher up, they were a lock-in for Europa. Everyone's guaranteed to go down at the beginning of the season. You can't just suddenly say because they touched 6th or 5th,
start of the season,
then they should finish there.
I'd say Haaland was impactful because there was a period where it looked like there would be no title race, and then there became a title race because Haaland locked in again and won the golden boot for the first time.
Go on,
John. No, go on. Oh yeah, because I was gonna say like the only reason I was scared in the title race was because of Haaland and City, because I think just so in terms of impact, obviously Thiago's impactful, but Haaland, he just felt inevitable. Like you can just see the confidence. Like when he gets that rhythm, he just felt like the confidence is coming. And yeah, I think when he scored, I remember even the goal he scored against us when he just absolutely outpaces Gabriel. I was just like, I've never seen that. He just absolutely just went on a tear.
And the one where he dashes Gabriel on the ground as well.
Yeah, out of the way.
Yeah,
he was really mad. He was bullying the fuck out of our guys too.
Here's my reasoning, right? I made a big thing about players being underappreciated in previous seasons and not get given player of the season, right? And a good example is like Henry when he got 24 goals, 20 assists and didn't win player of the year, right? Because he didn't win a title or whatever else. Haaland is, and I know that this is PL and whatever else, but he's going to come out this season with 26 goals, 9 assists, 2 trophies. And no one's talking about him for player of the season. No one's even talking about him or there's a debate on whether he's the player of his position in the team of the season. And I'm just going to say, I'm trying not to underappreciate him. I do think he's a limited player. He's no Henry. I'll give you that for sure. But what he does do, he is literally the best player on the earth at doing. And that is arguably the most important skill in football. And I'm not going to say that like, I'm afraid of him going out the league, because I'd actually very much like him to leave the league as quickly as possible so that, we can have a bit more dominance. But just the fact that we have never seen something like this, and he keeps doing it year over year over year, and no one gives a shit. The first year, all right, yeah, you set a really high standard, you broke all the scoring records, and after that, if you don't get near that again, no one's going to rate you for anything. And we're all just going to talk about you like you're fucking Beto with better technique, all right? Like, that's a bit harsh to me, and that's the main reason why I'm going for it. Like, Thiago's a great player, but we're talking about, like, this is his first time doing it. We're talking about with Haaland, he's done this year over year over year, and again, he's added a new thing to his game that we thought he all couldn't do, which is assisting. And he might have a drought, that's fine, but I'd argue that during those droughts, Man City were dog shit, which shows me impact, right? We talk about impact. Well, if he's not scoring for Man City, they're shit.
Yeah, they were Haaland FC, man.
Yeah, but you could flip that around and say, like, if he, why is he not performing?
Thiago,
like,
buy another
he needs to carry his team as well.
Attacker then.
No.
Last year, take the next one. I don't. He's a donkey. He's actually better as well. He's worse than better.
I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. And I think anyone who's been completely disregarding Haaland needs to give their head a wobble, because he's clearly the best finisher in the league by a country mile, and he's been performing. And if we want to consider this an underperformance, that tells you what his top performance would look like, because he's still got 27 goals and 8 assists in the league. That's good. But at the same time, I just think what Thiago did, he got 22 goals, which is not a country mile away from him. And he's done it consistently throughout the season. You can say penalties or whatever, sure. If you want to pick out perfect goals, that's fine. But I don't think there's a huge amount of difference in the impact. And I might actually agree with Razor more that if you looked at the goals that he scored to win points for his team, probably, I haven't looked at the stat, I would imagine based on his importance and the goals he scored that I saw, he won more points for Brentford than Haaland did for Man City. And then I think that's the way I would measure impact. But I don't think there's a wrong answer. So if we're deadlocked, we're just going to have to leave it out there, and people can decide it's either Thiago or Haaland, but we can't make a decision here. 3 votes each. That's where it is. Yeah, honourable mention. For anyone's... Seriously, any honourable mentions apart from João Pedro and Ekatike? Because I don't feel like that's a...
Gyökeres.
Groupie. And
Groupie, there you go. Yeah, Groupie.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins.
Watkins is a good one.
The Sunderland one.
No, he didn't score that many goals. I'm just a fan, but I'm not delusional about where he sits in this conversation. He's a good player. But Groupie, no one's mentioned Welbeck. Welbeck, Calvert-Lewin. Yeah.
Welbeck and Calvert-Lewin are more of those just like we're surprised that they're doing what they're doing, but what they're doing is not better than other people.
Not Welbeck.
Nah.
Calvert-Lewin, yes, but not Welbeck. Not Welbeck.
What do you mean? He's scored the most goals he's ever scored in his career when he's 35. You're talking about people aren't surprised that he's doing that.
No, but he's scored a decent amount of goals before. This is like, what's his previous tallies for Brighton? Has it been like 3-4 goals? What we're talking?
He has never been a prolific goal scorer, and he's broken the record this season, and he broke it within about 6 months. Like, it's not as if he's actually had a drought, because I have him in my FPL team and he hasn't fucking scored for about 6 weeks. But I will just say, like, we're just more surprised that he is doing what he's doing. But like, I'd argue that's why also Calvert-Lewin's in there, because we all thought like he's more of a model than he is a footballer. He barely ever plays football, and when he does, like, he's kind of iffy, and he's managed to actually be half decent again. It's like honourable mention, yes, but they ain't anywhere near that top category.
Johns wants Gyökeres in.
No. I want an honourable mention only, because he's also nowhere near Haaland or Thiago. Just to be very clear.
Yeah, I mean
he's in that João Pedro category as much as Reece might want to push him out. Yeah,
he's got the same amount of goals and assists in the Prem as Calvert-Lewin, and he's got 1 more goal than Welbeck. I think Calvert-Lewin's been pretty good, like for Leeds. I wouldn't be mad at him being a honourable mention. But yeah, I think Jimmy Groupie is probably outside of those two. It might be Ollie Watkins and Jimmy Groupie. I feel João Pedro has scored a lot of goals. But unfortunately, he's playing at Bozo FC, and I don't know if we can have you in the season if you're getting substituted for Liam Diop. Diop is just like, he's a thug, and João Pedro should be scoring more goals, or like that team should be scoring more goals in it. So it's like the fact that he was the only one who was kind of switched on. I feel like he deserves ratings for that. But again, it's probably him standing out as a semi-shiny penny in a pile of shit.
We got someone in the chat who's not a big LFC fan, it looks like. Big you up. Your name's a bit too long for me to read out, but I'll cut it at 413. Big you up. I support that message. But yeah, we'll
oh, you walk alone.
All right, we'll wrap it up. The comments can, if we get any, can decide between Thiago and Haaland. But I think, yeah, I agree with John. Generally, those are the honourable mentions. And I agree with Razor. Probably the outside shout might be Watkins, because back end of the season form was crazy. He was scoring even when he was half drunk against Man City. So big him up. All right, let's preview the Champions League final, lads, before we wrap it up. It's been a super long one, but we got Arsenal PSG on the weekend, 5 p.m. on Saturday in Budapest. Khem, let's be honest, you're shitting yourself, aren't you?
It's not. I don't support either team, so I'm not shitting myself, bro.
I don't support either team, so I'm not shitting myself.
Bro, you still got that towel on, bro. Your head must stink. PSG to win.
It's a scarf.
Yes, it's. I mean, number one, just observations as a neutral. 5 p.m. final, love it. That's great. Gives everyone a good amount of time to recover or celebrate afterwards. That's good timing. But yeah, PSG, have they played any games in the last couple of weeks? I know that they kind of get their schedule nicely altered and amended for their European games. So let's see how it goes. Arsenal lads, Jonts, how are you feeling about the final? Do you have any predictions or kind of how do you think the game's going to go?
I haven't really had much time to think about it, to be honest. I think most of it has just been celebration and, just being with the rest of the Arsenal fans and celebrating the Premier League. And I don't really want to interrupt that with thinking about the Champions League yet. So I'll give you my very short one, which is I think it will be a cagey game, much like our ties against them last year were. I know everyone's looking at it and saying, oh, they're going to slap us. And don't get me wrong, there's a high chance that they could slap us because they've got unbelievable attackers that are arguably the best, or no, not arguably, definitely the best attack in the world. So there's always a chance that one of them has just an unbelievable game, but there's a chance that 2 of them or 3 of them do, and then you kind of get a final like you did last year. I'm confident that our defense is not going to fall apart in the same way that, last year's did. But from my point of view, I think if we win it, it's going to be a close game, right? It's going to be a 1-0, 2-1 type of affair. So I'm expecting it to be a painful 90 minutes or potentially even longer than that. I think it's going to be one of those ones where you just heart palpitations all day, all game, probably for the 5 hours after it as well. So we'll see how it goes. But there's a piece of me that is optimistic, but not a whole lot of me that's optimistic because of the fact that, it's a final. Anything can happen, and I don't particularly like that. And we've had a whole season of very close victories, and I'm not sure how much more my heart can take, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's intense stuff. What's your take on the game? How are you feeling about it? Are you optimistic about coming away with the first ever UCL?
Everything's a bonus from here on out. The Prem was always the goal, but if we get the UCL, being in the final is it's a privilege. And I'm not gonna say I'm overly confident, but I can't see us conceding a lot. I don't think we do concede a lot anyway. I just don't see us. I just don't think that's possible. I think my biggest concern is just right back. So obviously it depends on who we've got. I think I've seen reports saying Timber might be fit, but then if he is fit, he's not played football in about a month. So I don't think that's a good sign either way. But then also Mosquera versus Kvaratskhelia scares me mightily. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if a half fit Timber is better than a fully fit Mosquera. But honestly, apart from that, I think PSG they can. I think they can not be got, but I think we can cause them problems. And yeah, as I said, everything's a bonus. Honestly, if we lose, obviously it'll be sad, but it will not be. I wouldn't ruin the season for me because we've got the Prem, and that was the thing that I think every Arsenal fans wanted. And then if we win, it will be the 3rd time I'm at the Emirates going crazy, but this time might be the greatest one, the greatest one ever. To be fair, because that will be some crazy things will be happening that time, especially with the heat as well. So if you see some videos of me, it's going to be bad because I will not be keeping my head on whatsoever because that's going to be the greatest day of my life, pretty much. So I just got to stay positive and just look forward. As a winner, that's all we could pray for. That's all we could pray for. And then some uncomfortable conversations again will start. And I'll be putting him into some crazy conversations as a legend of the game in his first season at Arsenal. So. But for your sake, I really hope. For your sake, you better hope Eze don't be the winner. But for my sake, my goodness gracious, the agenda will be agendaing, and I will be unbearable if Eze gets the winner. But positive, man. We got to be positive. Big week ahead.
Yeah, Razor. What about you? How are you feeling?
The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He leadeth me to. Nah, in all serious, I'm just praying. Genuinely, I don't know what. I don't know what PSG are going to come out with, and I don't know what we are going to match that with. And I think Jonty made a good point when we were talking about like the strength of their attack and the fact that it can be a really, really long day for teams playing against like attackers of that caliber. But I just don't see us. Hopefully, I don't end up regretting saying the statement, but I just don't see us shipping high significant amount of goals. I think it will be a cagey game. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I don't expect to win. But I don't think I'm expecting to lose, if that makes sense. I don't think it's like, oh, hopefully we can nick something today. Like, we are the Premier League champions. We're in the final. And yeah, like we deserve to be where we are. We played some of the best football in Europe this season. And I think if we play that upper echelon football, like if the team is able to get purring in the fashion that it did when we were playing teams like Bayern Munich in the group stages, and the way that we rolled over some of the like bigger other Premier League teams that we played, or the more tricky Premier League teams that we played that have attacked us, then I think we're going to go in with something that has like possibilities. You know what I mean? We're giving ourselves a chance. I think if we go in and we try and like stand off a bit and almost like respect their attacking force too much, I think that could signal being a bit problematic, because you don't want to get players like Dembele and Doué and Barcola and that Kvaratskhelia. You don't want them to start gaining confidence. Do you know what I mean? Like you want to like lock them down and make things difficult for them to operate. And I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup
in the game. I think the first goal scorer might actually win the game, because I think if there's a team that could disrupt PSG, would be you lot, because the way Arteta can control a game even out of possession is very good. So if you can keep them quiet for the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, then it's all to play for. So like it's a very much that best attack versus defense kind of matchup. So it's quite an exciting one. And it'll just be a case of who got it right between Enrique and Arteta. The only thing will be you guys, you're just coming off that massive high over the last couple of weeks, and then now you've got to lock in again and see how it goes. But obviously, you'll have like positive momentum, but like that crazy adrenaline spike you've just had from ending this drought and all these celebrations, now you have to go into a massive matchup so soon will be difficult. But they're professionals; they'll be ready for it. And it's just a case of how much compound V did PSG freaking inject into their system over the last couple of weeks, pissing about in their crappy league, and how juiced to the gills they will be. But Timber might play, he might not, but I don't even know what Hakimi's status is. So there's also a couple of, there's a guy out on their end as well. Nuno Mendes got a few knocks a few times as well.
Yeah, Dembele got injured in their last game, but I don't know if he's going to be back or not. So yeah, there's injury concerns on both sides, but I think it'll be a good game
as well. Aerially, sorry. If you guys get some I know we joke about set piece ole, but you definitely have the advantage there. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah. It's the team that performed the best in the competition, which is Arsenal, against a team that I think we know is probably the best outside of that in terms of the quality of the team. So let's see how it goes. But we'll wrap up the pod here. Super long episode. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop us a like, leave a comment, and share the video. And if you're listening on the podcasting platforms, please follow us and leave us a 5-star review. Next week, we'll be reviewing the Champions League final, obviously, and we'll also be doing our World Cup draft ahead of the World Cup that will start in a few weeks' time. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.